I feel the need to live again. This broken state that I've been in. Though the pain is pleasing, I just want it to end. A beaten soul is all I've been. I am the scars of love and sin. Can someone make me better? 'Cause I can't take the pressure. Am I the dark stepping into the light? Am I the fire waiting to ignite? Don't say it's forever. Waiting, waiting, no more waiting to ignite. Should I, could I, if I choose to stay? Would anything change? 'Cause we don't have forever to put me back together. Am I the dark stepping into the light? Am I the fire waiting to ignite? Don't say it's forever. Waiting, waiting, no more waiting to ignite. Protected from the path that I've chose. Love so long I can't let go. Am I the dark stepping into the light? Am I the fire waiting to ignite? Don't say it's forever. Waiting, waiting, no more waiting to ignite. Waiting, waiting, no more waiting. Don't say it's forever. Waiting, waiting, no more waiting to ignite. I've got holes in my pockets. The pieces fall inside and go. All the mine is I own. I turn up the volume to dull down the road. This puzzle's asylum, but the picture wants more. If I could just run out of time, I would. Except what I've become now, and stop asking why I live my life looking for truth and lie. Hearts will break. can wake up from unstuck, living a life so full of unconscious lies is wasted on the one who despises it all. Oh, but wake up before I fall. If I could just run out of time, I would. Except for what I become now, and stop asking why I live my life, looking for truth and lie. The truth and
What is up, all you crazy son of a bitches? Thank you for coming out this Saturday night. Why the fuck is there two things on the screen right now? Not sure why, but there we go. Guys, the link is in the chat. The way my software works without doing a whole bunch of goofy stuff is 4 of you can come in at a time. If you don't want to come in, you don't want to be on camera, that's cool, man. I get it. You can hang out in the chat, or you can call into the show. Matter of fact, let me press this little button under my desk to make sure the phone is on, which it is not. So we'll charge this. And you guys can call in if you want. If you rather call in than showing your face, I get it. Some people just want to chill. They don't want to be on camera. Whatever. It's all good. But hope everybody is having a fucking good week so far. It was crazy, man. No podcast this week because I had an awesome guest, but they ended up getting COVID. And I won't say who the person is, but it's another person from Cardone Ventures. The stuff with Grant Cardone. I had Mr. Brandon Dawson before, which is an awesome podcast, but they got sick, so I couldn't do it. And I've been doing more than one podcast a week, so I didn't want to do one just for shits and giggles. But I am happy to do one of these hangouts again, man. I don't know if a lot of you have been around, the YouTube scene for a long time, but, I started watching these YouTube videos and got into the community back in, 2014, 2013, something like that. And I used to be, man, just sitting there in the chat, fucking writing, commenting to people, and way before I ever thought that I'd ever be doing podcasts and shit like that. So the Hangouts used to be a good time. So that's why I was glad that my buddy, Mr. Ryan, Hughesman HVAC, did one last week. And I was like, you know what? I was like, you inspired me to finally stop dragging my fucking feet and do a Hangout. So if you guys want to come in, we can start rocking and rolling. I got to unlock and move this scene real fast. Let me see what's going on here. There we go. Yeah, man, I ain't no big thing, dude. I appreciate all of you, man, the people that download the podcast and listen to it, man. That's I appreciate it. I never, ever in a million years thought this podcast would turn into what it is, and that's the God's honest truth. So the last episode, we broke 2 million downloads of the audio podcast, which is fucking crazy. I mean, granted, that's not 2 million people, so regardless, I'll take it. So tonight, guys, just so you know, I'm not doing a bunch of sponsorship reads. Obviously, it's a hangout, but this hangout is brought to us by Blue On. Guys, if you don't have the Blue On app downloaded, I don't know why. It's free. Become a Blue On Pro member. If you use it, great. If you don't, great. but it's a free resource, man. You really can't beat it. I love those people over at Blue On. Everybody that I've talked to over there is fucking rock stars. They are amazing fucking people. I've downloaded a million times. The podcast. I bet you have, bro. I appreciate you, man. I know you know that. But yeah, the Blue On app, dude, it's just an amazing resource. All of our techs at Beltway use it. Oh, Jason, you said you have it and rarely use it. And that's fine. Ah, does it really for commercial? See, and I didn't know that. I mean, we've used it for residential stuff. But the one thing about that, dude, like if it does suck for a certain part, they're cool enough people that if you tell them like, hey, like I like using you for this, but this is kind of weak, they're the kind of people that they'll make it better, you know? Yeah, so that's why I have that series with them, just so you know. Um, it's Meet Tech Support. So every probably once, twice a month, I'm gonna have two of their tech support people on, and we're gonna cover different technical topics. I actually have one coming up Tuesday. Ah, gotcha. That makes sense, Jason. I do know a couple. I think it depends on who you get, Jason, to be honest, because um, Brian, who is like their head engineer, their head tech support guy, I know he knows his shit because he did all that kind of stuff. So most of them might be residential guys. There's a few, but I get that makes sense. And when you get into industrial, a lot of it is yeah. And to be honest, I'll tell him that. Like I said, Mr. Pete, the CEO of Blue On, he's the coolest fucking dude ever. The guy's a gazillionaire, but when you meet him, he's the most down to earth guy you'd ever fucking meet. And like I said, when I meet a multi-billion-dollar, CEO, and I'm saying fuck, and he's like, yeah, fuck that. I'm like, this is my kind of dude, man. Yeah, he's cool as hell. So that's fine. If I go tell them like, hey man, I'm getting a lot of feedback saying residential is cool, but your commercial and industrial, tech support, people are saying that it's not that good. I know that he would pour resources into it 100%. Yeah. Well, that's why I was so happy to partner up with them, man. Like any of my sponsors, you know, I mean, let's be honest. Obviously, my sponsors pay me, so I don't do it for free. But any sponsor that I have, I use their service. That's why I promote it. So that's why these you guys. If I told you how much money that I've turned down, you'd say I'm a fucking idiot. But I don't want it to be about that. And let's see. I love to see. Where's Mikey Pipes? He's in here. I didn't see him. Mikey Pipes on that one commercial, man. But yeah, the sponsors, so all the ones that I use are all companies that I actually use. Dude, Yellow Jacket has a place in my heart. Yeah, because of like when I started with my dad, but also because fuck, I got them. I sold them into Jesus Christ, having a fucking brain fart. I sold them into sponsoring me before I ever did a show. So they believed in me. So now I stick by them. Anyway, I don't know how I got down that fucking ramble. Do me a favor, man, in the chat. Some of you guys I know, some of you I may know and just forget. Let me know where you're from. What part of the world are you from? And I don't know, man, some of you, but dude, the weather in Maryland has sucked fucking balls. It really has. I mean, we're steady, like we're moving, but not like summertime moving. And if you look at a map of the fucking country, it's like there's a heat wave, and it goes right around Maryland. And it's like, fuck you, Mother Nature, you fucking cunt. Pittsburgh, New York. Let's see. Yeah. Air Force none. New York. East Coast from Pittsburgh. San Diego. Wales, Vagina. And Austin, Texas. Spencer is from California. You guys like New York and Pittsburgh, so Air Force and East Coast. What's the weather like for you guys? Because I know when I talked to Jeff JDM HVAC last Friday, he said it's hot as shit in Jersey, North Carolina, Dallas. What up, Brent? Mr. Brett. Air Oasis Mechanical. What's up, my man? Hot and humid. I wish it was here, man. It's like I said, we're steady and moving, man, but it's just this is the in 20 something years of being in this trade, this is the weirdest fucking summer that I've had in Maryland since I've been doing this. It's just weird. It's like it'll get real hot and humid for a little bit, and then it rains, and then it knocks the heat off. And 103 to 108. I wish we had fucking 103 to 108. So here I'm gonna put the link in the in there again, man. If any of you guys want to pop in, the phone should be charged here soon. Man, it's still dead. Almost. If anybody wants to hop in. Catch up with these comments. Let me see if anybody is watching this on Facebook. I put it on Facebook. Your forest fires. California is fun to visit, but I wouldn't want to live in California. I'm just being honest. Sorry, I'm trying to see if there's anybody. For some reason, the comments, I don't know, Facebook's gay, so it won't let people. It just says Facebook user, so I don't know who it is. So I won't pull it up real fast. There it is. Is watching this on Facebook. Whoop. Don't want to have a feedback. There we go. Pop out. I guess you can't pop out the chat on Facebook like you do on YouTube. Anyway, are you motherfuckers gonna hop in here or not? It's a fucking hangout, and I'm sitting here fucking playing circle jerk by myself. All right, I got people texting me saying they're running behind. Come on, you son of a bitches. We fucking planned this. Sorry, one of the people that's always in here. I thought I saw him in the chat. There we go. Let me get over here to one guest. Let me change this name and add Mr. Let me at least get your name. What's up, my man?
What's going on?
Same old
why
shit.
do I have feedback? Dupe, sorry.
You're good.
What's going on?
Same old shit, my man. Let me change your name so it's not
Hefe?
Yeah. I love Ecamm, but that's one of the few this is one of the things, like, these hangouts are done a lot easier, I think, in like StreamYard. But I'm balls deep in the software. I'm not fucking switching it now.
I'm staying with StreamYard. It's so much more easier.
Yeah, well, this is very, very similar, and I don't know why I even got into this one because all of my friends at the time were all using the StreamYard because back in the day we used to all go like directly into YouTube before it made it where you had to use something else,
Yeah,
and that's when everybody started using StreamYard, and I always got to be the fucking oddball and do something different. So,
I
um,
gotcha.
but anyway, man, congrats on the podcast. I heard you guys been fucking killing it, dude. 100,000 downloads. You got there way fucking faster than I did. I'll tell you that.
Trying to, man. It's just putting up good quality content, and biggest bitch we get is you go too deep into stuff sometimes. But I mean that's why we have some episodes that are a little bit easier to understand. The back to basics, the intro where our audio was just atrocious. I mean, there's some episodes that we just gotta like kind of redo. And back when we first started, we like Kevin and I would just talk for 2 hours straight, and we're like, yeah, this will get downloads. And like when I first started getting in the analytics, you saw 45 minutes, and then it would just drop off. I'm like, well, I guess 2 hours is too much.
Yeah, well, one thing I noticed is if you have ones that are 2 hours, I would split them up into a part one, part two. You'll do better. That's why normally the longest episode I'll put in is like an hour and a half, and I noticed that all the ones I do longer don't do as well.
Mm.
Normally it's like 50 minutes to like an hour and 10 minutes is kind of that sweet spot. At least for me it is. Sorry, not to Zach from Shop Talk, man. What is up, Zach? Speaking of the OGs, Zach is an OG from when I was talking about earlier when I said when we used to do the hangouts back in the day, fucking Zach is one of the people I'm talking about with the hangouts.
Yeah.
Um, but and then, so
No,
when do you guys? I'm sorry, I would say when do you guys like when does yours guys get released? Like when every week? What day?
usually Sunday night and a Monday morning. I usually try to do edits on Saturday. I've been behind on some stuff. I have some stuff going on at home, and so I haven't the job that I have ended up like turning into something that I wasn't expecting. So originally, like when I got a promotion at work, basically it was I was supposed to just go all over the country and just fix stuff. God, you want me to stop?
No, you're good. I'm just adding people.
Keep going.
Okay.
What's keep talking, man. I'm just gonna change your names. I'm gonna have to do this as we keep getting more people. So you're good. My
All right,
fault,
I guess
buddy.
my name's Brian.
I've been called worse, so
But
you're
yeah,
good.
so my original job it was supposed to be I was supposed to travel all over the country and just help with some of the stuff that we engineer that we're having a hard time getting up and running and working. And I now am basically making education programs, new education programs. I created a website for our for CoolSys, houses over 200 gigs worth of information. I'm going out shooting videos at a lot of our training centers and making how-to videos, like how to change a valve plate on a 3D, how to do leak detection, how to change an oil separator. So like originally what my job was and what it's actually evolved into is been kind of crazy. So like I'm right now making the education the training schedule for this fall.
That's awesome, man. But I don't think you can get in too deep because I feel like a lot of people like they want to know things, but they don't want to know things. You know what I mean? Like, and I was talking to some of my technicians the other day in one of our service meetings, and I said the problem with technicians, like, let's be honest, to be good, well, maybe in residential, not like commercial, industrial, but to be an above average tech, if you really grind for 5 years, you can be a damn good fucking tech. If you really stick in and you read the books and you learn the why behind the what and all that kind of stuff, the theory is that too many technicians learn just enough to be dangerous to get by and then they stop.
They usually resolve issues based off of past experiences instead of which I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. I mean, I still do that as well. I mean, hey, I had this, which is kind of similar, but like it's usually off of theory, right? It's all the numbers, right? This is what happens when the velocity in the pipe goes down. You start getting river in the sight glass, and you use that theory behind that to basically diagnose some other like crazy issues, right?
Yeah, why did the
Well, heck, another big thing is not rushing the job, just paying attention to detail and actually caring. I work with a tech, that will be impatient and be like, fuck it. I'm condemning the board or I'm condemning the coil, because he's either hot in an attic or he just it's taking too long and he just clearly doesn't know what's going on with this high end 20 SEER unit. And he's not willing to call someone for help.
Yeah.
Or not diagnosing the thing on the way to the job. I mean, I don't know how many times, guys are like, well, hey, I got this call. I'm like, okay, so what do you got? He's like, well, I'm not there yet. I'm like, click. I'm not gonna sit here and play 20 questions of what it could be, because you're gonna get inside your head, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be going down path A when you should have been rolling down the other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of times it's ignorance, man. It's when new things come out and we don't know, and news bad. News bad. I don't like new things. Like inverter technology, that's the future, man. Like you might as well get in front of it because it's not going anywhere. So I used to literally take an old inverter board and I would do in a service meeting with our techs, and I'd be like, this is one fucking part. It's a series of inputs and a series of outputs. If you have your input AC voltage and you don't have your DC out voltage, there's nothing on there that you can change. Well, some of the carriers have that one little, I forget the name of it. It's got a little board on the bottom that you can change, but that's rarely ever the problem. You know what I mean? So it's, speaking in the residential, which is all I've really been doing. I've been out of the commercial industrial game for a long time. Part of me misses it. Part of me doesn't. But that's what I started in. Well, where'd you say you were, Luke? North Carolina?
North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina.
Nice. And what what are you? So you in the residential, industrial? What side are you in, buddy?
Well, right now I'm kind of in everything. So I'm still a helper. I'm 19 years old, so I can't get in a truck until I'm 21. So I work on or at least I help work on 3-phase commercial units, residential units, boilers, commercial hot water heaters, plumbing, kind of everywhere, commercial plumbing.
Good.
But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be doing many commercial units anymore because the guy, the guy who holds the license for commercial units, he's leaving in a month, and it sucks because he's a really good technician. He's also a young guy, very smart.
So you had a smaller company?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Luke, that's something you can do. We in bigger companies, sometimes they will pay you to actually obtain a contractor license. You can hold one, and they'll pay you
Mm-hmm.
to basically rent out your license. So just keep that in mind. It's
Exactly.
something that you have availability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was gonna say,
But
everybody in the chat, probably here in like 10 minutes, I'll be asking some random questions, and they're going to be about the podcast. I'm gonna see people who listen. If you answer, and I'm not gonna make them hard, but if you listen every once in a while, then you'll know. I'm gonna ask some questions. I'm gonna start giving some shit away. So we'll see how it goes. If anybody else wants to come in, the link. So we got 2 more people that can come in, 4 people in here at a time. The link is in the chat. If you don't find it, let me know and I will repost it. So Luke, do you have family that like what made you get into HVAC? Do you have family that got you in, or?
no, I just kind of ever since I was little, I was kind of interested in, the mechanical aspect of, buildings. When I was a little kid, I kind of wanted to go down, if I was at a neighbor's house, go see their furnace, or water heater or gas meter. And like when I was 10 years old, I figured out how to repair hardwired doorbells. I had a business where I'd go around and repair, these 100-year-old doorbells, cloth wires and everything, make a little money. And yeah, just kind of grew from there. I didn't want to go to college. I was in high school during COVID and I just couldn't do online school. So I got my GED and got into the trades and haven't regretted a single day of it.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
But, mm-hmm.
That's awesome, dude. That's part of the reason that I do. I mean, I'll let Brett's, his opinion while he does his podcast, but the reason I started this podcast, for one, was to give back to the industry. The other thing, man, is I want kids or young people, like I have some events coming up where I'm going to like some trade schools. I'm going to podcast from some trade schools, do some different things. But it's to let the younger generation know that you don't have to go to college to be successful. You know, I think too many fucking kids are brainwashed, and I've said this a million times on this podcast, so I know people probably get tired of hearing it, but it's the truth. You know, it's kids get brainwashed. If you were good at learning in a, you know, classroom setting, then by all means go to college, but go to college for a hard skill. Don't go and get a fucking basket weaving degree or, you know, I'm going to get a business management degree. Okay, well, what fucking business are you going to manage? Like, have a plan in place. I'm getting this degree to do this job. You know, not just get a degree just for the sake of argument. Oh, I have a degree. You know, I mean, I got guys that work for me that they're like 24, 25. These kids make like 150 grand a year. You know, they make more than their parents make. And we literally paid for them to have money management lessons because they didn't know what to do. Like, they're like, I don't know what to do with this.
Boats and hoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
boats.
I'm still living with my parents. My plan is to stay in the trade, you know, and just stay with my parents and just save money. And I don't have any student debts to pay. So my idea is to keep saving, and maybe in a year, if the market's right, see if I could put a down payment on a house.
There you go.
You know, buy a house at 20 years old.
No, what you should do, sorry, Brett. What you should do is live with your parents as long as you possibly can and buy a rental house.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I've heard plenty of people say that.
Buy a duplex, live in the one half, and rent out the other, and basically your mortgage is paid for. Let the money work for you.
Yeah, so
if I could do it all over again, I would.
Yep. So just so you know, obviously I have the podcast and I run an HVAC company, but I also have an investment firm. That's what it is. It's all property. So real estate, you will make money. If you can live with your parents and you're happy, buy another house, live in there. Like he said, you can buy one where they pretty much pay your rent. You make money. You live there for free. We had a podcast not long ago about, you know, life insurance policies. Like, there's so many places, like compound interest, things like that. Like, once you learn and you start to figure that out, everybody says this, but I wish I knew at your age what I know now. Things would be fucking different. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, heck, my she owns a bunch of rental properties, do a lot of work, and so, I mean, yeah, you know, I could ask her for help if I happen to do that. And I have looked at a few duplexes in the next town's over, you know.
Yeah. As you're young, man, think about, you know, this is things they should be teaching in school and not some of this dumb bullshit that they teach, like, you know, some of the dumb things, but, you know, between assets and liabilities. When you learn that at a young age, the difference between those two, it'll really help you. You know, like, they should teach kids, like, what interest is, you know, how to balance a checkbook, even though everything's all digital. But that's the kind of shit they should teach you in school, like real life skills. You know, like sex ed. Like, this is a penis, this is a vagina, you gotta go like this. It's just, it's like, we could figure that out ourselves. We don't need to take a class on it. You know, so... But good for you, man. It sounds you got a good head on your shoulders at your age, man. That's awesome, because the trades can take you a long way. They really can. They've been good to me. Me and my family do well. My dad did this, and I don't know what else I'd be doing, to be honest. It just, I don't know. This is just kind of a way of life.
I can see myself anywhere else. I couldn't sit in an office. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
8 hours a day.
I couldn't. Go ahead, Brett.
I live in a nice neighborhood, and you know, it was funny because, like, when COVID hit and everyone started laying off, everyone is freaking out. Houses are going up for sale, and I'm just like, I'm tired of working overtime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and think about it. COVID really, really showed how essential that we are. You know what I mean? It maybe in the beginning when people are like, "Oh, wear gloves and a mask, don't touch me," you know what I mean? Put the bill in the mailbox or something stupid like that. But other than that, if it gets, if their heat don't work, they're calling somebody. They're not going to sit in their house and fucking freeze. And if the AC don't work, they're not going to sit in their house and be hot. They don't give a fuck what's going on in the world. So as long as you have those elements, we're always going to be needed. They're always going to have to use the bathroom and shower and all that kind of stuff. They're going to need electricity. So, you can't. There's no way to, like, robots can't do what we do. At least not anytime soon. I hate to say that because you never know, man. Fucking, I think, what's his name? The fucking Tesla guy?
Elon.
Elon, yeah. I like him, but he scares me, man. All those goofy fucking movies about, like, they all start with one guy that's out there that starts creating all this stuff, and next thing you know, it's the end of the world. So we gotta watch that son of a bitch.
No, Gil, you asked me why I do what I do. So, I've been training for at least, I don't know, 10 years. And, I got into a YouTube funnel the one night, and I was like, there was so much bad information on there. I was like, someone's going to get killed. Someone's going to get hurt. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I know that Kevin usually gets up to go to the gym, and I texted him, I'm like, hey, we should start a podcast. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, I think we should. And that's the reason why we started it. We basically wanted to educate people because, no one's coming in the trades. I was really fortunate a couple months back. I actually got to do a podcast live stream with Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs. And we were talking about, for the past how many years it's go to college to succeed. And it's not that way anymore. Like you said, you got kids that are working for you they're making over six figures, and they're 24 years old and they don't even know what the hell to do with the money. Yep. They're just, I'm working the overtime. The Pennsylvania Dutch have a saying, make hay while the sun shines. Right. So, work that overtime as much as you can. Cause start hitting 40 years old, you start slowing down. I'm like a couple months away, and I feel broken every day.
So I am, dude. I'm almost there. And it's make those younger years, like, I get it. I was, I dicked off for a lot of that time, so I had to play catch up. If you can be smart during those years, if you're smart, there's no reason why you can't be 40, 45 years old, 50 and retiring, because by the time you hit your 40s, it's like, all right, I'm trying to start to enjoy life a little bit. I want to try to enjoy some of the fruits of my labor. By 50, you're like, fuck this, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Well, that's one thing I noticed with COVID. I've seen more people just say, screw the overtime. They don't want to work it anymore because, COVID kind of, put light to things where, they kind of question their own mortality. Right. So they're like, oh, I don't want to work like this for the rest of my life. And, we've had a lot of guys who are like, I'm just going to get out of the trade, whether it be HVAC or refrigeration. They're just like, I'm going to live life. And, in order to do that, you got to start young and be able to afford to retire at a decent age. So you're not retiring when you're, 70 years old.
Yeah. They say, like, my brother, normally he hops in on these things just to be an asshole, but but he always says, so that's not what he did, but he has a master's degree in business and finance. So he's always been like my financial, like, guide to me. Yeah. But he always says you need 20 good years, to be able, but it all depends on how you want to retire. Do you want to retire and be able to get by, or do you want to retire and be able to, thrive or live the same lifestyle that you do? Oh, we got Hughes man coming in. Let me add him. Now I gotta change all the fucking names again. Jesus. Alrighty. What's up, Hughes man?
What's going on, Hoss?
Yeah, let me. Oh, I don't even got names on this one. Yeah, there you go. We don't need names. If you don't know our names, just keep paying attention. You'll hear us talk to each other. Let me make sure I got.
What's up, Brett? What's up, Luke?
What's going on, man?
I got some serious echo issues going on here, and you're seeing behind the facade. I can't get my green screen to work on.
Oh, it's all right. It's
Check to see if you have the YouTube still up. That's gonna cause your echo, man.
That is.
Yeah, I always have to mute
Brett.
mine.
He's a genius.
I always forget.
Echo gone. Brett, I gotta call you, man. I need you, Mr. Freaking Big Brain. I love you, Brett. How you
Please
doing,
make
man?
sure you're turning off YouTube while you're on the stream. It is going to cause feedback. Thank you.
Hey, these are things I probably should have known.
Yeah.
Clean up in aisle 4. Clean up in aisle 4.
I like that, Gil.
Yeah,
That's
I
an
got the-
awesome.
yeah.
I like that.
Hey, everybody, you son of a bitch. You motherfucker.
Luke, I gotta say, man, I'm impressed with you, bro. I think you got a bright future ahead of you. I really do.
Sorry, I'm just readjusting my camera.
You're
All right.
good.
Computer ain't
Fine.
working. So
Hey guys,
Yeah,
I gotta put some kiddos to bed. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for letting
Thanks,
me hang
man.
out, man.
Thanks
Take
for
care,
coming
bro.
in, buddy. Keep kicking
All right.
ass with the podcast, brother. We got to link up.
All right, see you guys.
See you, buddy. All right. Nah, Christ, now we're back to 3. Come on, is somebody else going to hop in so I don't got to change this goddamn screen? Here, I'm going to take...
I think Kraus is coming in.
Yeah, he was texting me saying that he was popping in, but he
He's
wasn't
popping
home yet. Here, I'm
I
gonna,
was hoping the manometer was going to show up today.
yeah, no.
I love waiting for things in the mail. I'm
No,
like a
it's
little
coming.
kid.
To be honest, it's sitting right here because I was waiting for the other. I haven't even shipped it because the other guy hasn't even got back to me, and I was trying to do it all at one time. So I'm just gonna send yours out, and I think I'll have to pick another winner because how many videos have I made, and that guy hasn't reached out to me. So
Well, maybe he just missed. That sucks though, because I've already got the testo and the field piece, probes, and then I've got a whole mess of other analog, or not analog, but manifold digital sets. I was like, I want the manometer, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You and Blue On, and then I heard what you guys. And sorry about the background.
you're
Usually,
good.
I got the. You guys don't want to see what's going on behind me. It's just my basement with my dresser and all my clothes. It's a
Here,
mess.
you want to see something funny? I can actually.
Yeah, put me somewhere cool.
Yeah, I can. Guest Hughes, man. Why is it? Oh, I gotta unlock it. I can put a green screen behind
Yeah,
you
there.
myself.
I like that. I'll take the brick wall. But
Yeah.
anyway, Blue On their app. I do commercial. It's a light commercial, just rooftop unit stuff. But what I like about Blue On and what they're doing is the being able to.
Let's see, got this up.
Yo, what's up?
buddy?
It's being able to pull up the manuals and the electrical schematics that are missing. When you pull up on a unit and you're like, I need to see the schematic. The old one's roached. It's completely gone. You can't read it. You can't I've pulled up on Blue On and been able to get the schematic I needed. So that's my number one for Blue On.
And now some of the new stuff, man. Like, guys, and you're in the industry. How many times have you ordered a part? And if you don't check your parts when you me, I learned my lesson. So I check my parts before I leave the supply
Absolutely.
house.
Have to.
How many times have you gotten the wrong part? Guys,
I've had blowers pulled out, ripped apart that were working, and been like, all right, let's go ahead and put these new parts in, and then they're wrong. And then you're like, now I've destroyed what was working. And I agree with you on that. We actually have people that pick up our parts, drive them back to the office, make sure they're right before we even get them on the job site. And even with all that, sometimes they're still not right.
Yeah, I mean, it's, what Blue On has done. So to become a Blue On Pro member, it's completely free. It costs you nothing. It takes maybe 10 minutes, if that. You can order parts for whatever. So I always say, Johnstone, like whatever your local supply house, whatever the local supply house you use that you go to and you get your stuff from, you can go through the Blue On app, find the exact part number, or maybe it cross references to something else, and you can get a quote from your local supply house saying, it's going to be $500 for this motor and board or whatever. Or you can place the order through the same company, the supply house that you support anyway, using Blue On, but you help Blue On at the same time, and you're getting the exact part that you ordered or what you need. And then I'm going to have a podcast coming up with them. It's called Curry. It's going to be a courier service that I'm pretty sure they're in most of the states, where they will fucking deliver the part for you. Like, I say this on the podcast, like, how many, especially in the residential or even commercial, like that way you can be working and doing something, and then it's like Uber for your parts. They just drop your shit off. Like, It's pretty fucking sweet, and also it's
It's
fucking
unheard of.
free.
It's pretty much the first. It's unheard of, really. I mean, have you ever heard of that before? Oh, I like that one, Gil.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was trying to find you a good one, man. There's a couple to choose from. Here's some tunnels.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, Blue
Go on
One's doing
vacation.
things that no one else has done, and their marketing is incredible. And have you guys watched their their videos where they have the two guys sitting on the couch and they're BSing and going through troubleshooting and stuff? It's really cool. I like Blue One. I like what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I have so I have that one of them is going to be Tuesday. I have that series that I'm doing with them where it's going to be to meet their tech support and they're such cool guys. And to be honest, a bunch of people in the chat, like I think Jason Johnson, a couple other people said that they think their commercial industrial tech support isn't that good. They're like, it's okay. Their residential is good, but that's fine. That's the kind of feedback they want. So if I go back and tell them, trust me, they will put in resources to make it better. That's the kind of people that they are.
No, I called their tech support one time and really had no issue. Hey,
Hi, sweetheart.
here, Finley. But it was a pretty minor question, but I thought, let me give them a try. And it really worked out well, but their wiring schematics and their manuals for units are good. Sweetie. All right.
Oh,
So who do we have here?
that is Mr. Hold on, let me add we got all the spots filled up. We got Kraus in here.
Yo,
What's up, man?
What
yo,
up?
what's going on, fellas?
Same old
What's
shite.
up, Kraus?
I'm trying to go into the garage. Hold on, give me a minute.
You're good.
Yo, my boys, my guys, what's good?
I love Kraus.
Yeah,
What's up?
Kraus is my man, dude.
Yo, hey, 410 through and through, baby.
Yeah, I wish this fucking weather would straighten out, man. This is weird here.
There we go.
And it's been hot here. It's been like we've just been booked up.
Yeah, we're just
We've been
steady.
doing nothing but HVAC this week for the most part. I think one day I was on plumbing,
Yeah,
and that was because I asked to help out a friend of mine.
yeah.
He was struggling with some anxiety, so
Oh,
you know.
hey, if you're busy, by all means, it's the way it should be. We are steady, so don't get me wrong. We're moving, but it's not that like summertime balls to the wall like it normally is, man. It's weird. And the worst part about it is there's no explanation for it. It's not like, oh, we're not spending enough in marketing. Oh, I wish we hired another technician. Like there's no, it makes me suck at my job because I feel like I don't know what I could change to be able to change the outcome. That's the part that pisses me off the most.
Weather not hot enough?
No, man, it
Is
gets
it the weather not being hot enough?
no. It'll
No,
be
it's
like
odd. It's like an odd thing, right? Like it gets slow, then it gets fast, then goes slow.
well,
Yes.
yes.
Something like that. Yeah.
So here it'll be like in the high 80s, low 90s. Like right now it's 81. So it'll be like high 80s, low 90s. And when we do get hot, like really humid, it seems like thunderstorms come in. It knocks the temperature down. The humidity slowly goes away. And let's be honest, in the residential game, if homeowners don't have to spend money, they're not going to. You know, especially in the world that we live in where it's you watch the news and it's like inflation, the world sucks. Your 401k, it means, it's worth dog shit. You know what I mean? People aren't going to spend money if they don't have to, and I can't say that I blame them. So if you don't have that sense of urgency in the summertime, people just ain't going to call as much, And the way it works in your local area, especially in residential, is the big boys get the phone calls. Once their boards are full, the calls trickle down. That's how marketing works. And I know a bunch of the managers and guys from the big boys, and they're not, they don't have anything to trickle down because they have guys that ain't working. They're fucking laying people off. Because one of them called me and was like, hey, man, can I come in for an interview? I was like, no. I was like, I'm good.
It's good to hear from other people because it gets slow. So this last month for me was bad. Slow. I only worked like the whole month, 2 weeks, something like that.
Aren't you in like fucking Puerto Rico or something?
Yes, but I don't do AC work. I do refrigeration work.
I was
Can you
gonna say,
introduce him?
What?
Well,
Can you introduce him? I'm not
Oh,
sure
yeah.
who it is
yes.
that's
So
speaking.
this is Mr. Alex. What is it? Figueroa is your last name, right, buddy?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's-
So
Bro!
yeah. So
What's up, buddy?
yeah, Alex
What's
has
up?
been he's been a fan of the podcast for a long time. We've met him. Me and Rookie Scott have met him several times in at AHR.
Sure,
So
yeah.
he was at AHR.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was-
Yeah, you might not have saw him, Ryan, but yeah, he's a cool dude. He's from Puerto Rico, and he used to hop in when I used to do these all the time back in the day. He'd always come, but this is the first one I've done. So thank you,
Whoa,
to
whoa,
Mr.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Mr.
Yeah, man.
Ryan.
He arrived.
Yes.
That's a little joke on the
make it move.
podcast last. Yeah. Anyway,
well,
So-
one benefit of being able to do plumbing is when it gets slow, you just move over to plumbing.
Oh.
That's usually what they do with me.
I actually have I'm actually licensed, but I haven't worked in it for years. Was when I got licensed in
plumbing?
refrigeration. Yeah, plumbing.
Go Gil.
And I just started. I did refrigeration AC, and it just was better. It worked out better for me.
Nice. What up, Kraus?
I wanted to ask you, have you heard of Farnan and Dermer?
Yes.
All right. That's who I used to work for before I moved down here, right? So they had an electrical, HVAC, and plumbing department, right? And they were running plumbing, family owned since 1902. Still, fifth
Wow.
family still running the business. And that's exactly like you said. When slow, we were doing plumbing, we were doing toilets, we were doing whole house plumbing, we were doing electrical work. Being able to have those attributes accumulated with doing HVAC, priceless, bro.
absolutely.
That's exactly right. But yeah, I know
I mean,
with a 105.7 The Fan.
Oh yeah, they're all over that shit. You know.
Yeah, I used to go to his house.
Oh,
the
shit.
plumbing side hustles for me pay for the truck's fuel bills, even with these high gas prices. So,
Yeah, plumbing. That's
so
why
I still have a bunch left over. Just,
nice, especially now that like I got a friend of mine. He said the best thing he ever bought was the Pro Press and the Mega Press. He's like, now when I have to go out and do some of these jobs where like running a gas line and I'd have to have a threader out there and redoing all this shit, he's like, it cuts it down to a fraction. And
Oh my! I could only.
I don't know. I still like soldering all my stuff. When I'm
Good
ever
then.
on the side, I that's just my go-to connection.
Yeah.
I think it's
Like
the best. I
factory
think it'll
work?
last the longest.
Factory
Yep.
work, facilities work. They ask like all that hot permit stuff. You just have to have
Yeah,
just two people.
ProPress, I don't fully dislike ProPress. ProPress absolutely has its place for certain repairs and commercial buildings. There are applications for it. But by default, in a house, I'd rather just solder something.
Facts.
Yeah.
I think it's just to me it's a more trustworthy connection. It's a rubber O-ring. Now, the house I live in now was built in 1935, and the hot water lines are all soldered copper original. I've never had to fix a leak on them. And I highly doubt if they were all ProPress, if they had it back then, that
They use
that it would last that long.
Probably has
Yeah, it's all
50-50 lead solder or something like that. Because
Well,
that's what they used to use a lot.
those old
I've
houses
got a roll
that
in my
had like
box.
that had like K copper. What is it? K, no, what is the
The
thickest
thick one? K.
Nope. Okay.
Big copper.
K.
K.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
copper
sure
K.
K is the thickest, the one you can't even get anymore. But if you had
Wow.
soldered,
Oh, I got it. I got some. You
Well-
can get it.
well,
It's
yeah, I know.
expensive.
Yeah, exactly. It's expensive and it was harder to get. But if you had like, I've seen some of those where they had K copper and they were soldered. Those things will that shit'll never leak ever. Yeah, it'll last forever.
And also, I mean, MegaPress also has its place, but another advantage of, say, if something's threaded, if one of those connections were to ever leak, you can take it apart and redope it. You can't do that with MegaPress.
No, but you got to think about this. So, and you're right with what you're saying. Everything has its place. But me now, I think of things as a business standpoint. So time is money. Can I get
Time
a
and
job
efficiency.
done professionally that does what the
After.
customer wants for a certain cost and a certain amount of time? So
Right.
that's where those things come in. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean,
Time and
sometimes
market.
newer doesn't mean it's always better.
Mm-hmm.
I have not used
I
any
worked
press
at Barnett
at all.
boilers. That's all we did. We just soldered all of our copper, no matter what. We never had pro press machines or anything. We just soldered everything. Yes, like you said, time and efficiency. Like it's going to cut down on everything. You probably do 2 or 3 or 4 freaking boilers. As long we had Columbia boilers delivering all of our stuff, and they would drop it off. But like you said, for longevity's sake, soldering is the way to go. But for time and efficiency and for the overhead sake, pro press, like you're gonna bang it out so much faster.
Well, plus, and
I
remember,
mean,
sorry, we're
it depends on
assuming.
what kind of tech. Oh
Yeah.
well,
You know,
it depends on what you're aiming for. At least I see it as, I'm not trying to be the fastest. I'm not trying to be the cheapest. I want to do it the best possible way I can. So
hey, and you
yeah,
you
for
you
me it
should.
makes sense.
Rookie said, "Kraus, is your camera drunk?"
I'm trying to angle this shit on my damn car. I don't have. I'm trying to like. I'm like, how do I fucking fix this shit without it being all fucked up?
You need me to send you like a fucking Joby
Well,
Gorilla Pod or
I've got my
something?
phone
You can send
stacked
me
on
some
these
Get a
mini
tripod.
Jenga blocks. I've got my phone stacked on these mini Jenga blocks up against my broken laptop so I can see the YouTube chat and type in it at the same
See,
time going off my hotspot on my
because
phone because the internet don't work.
fucking loose innovative. He doesn't bitch about it like Kraus. Jesus.
Fuck you, Gil. Yeah, I'll let my arm get tired when I get arthritis when I'm fucking 50, like all the old.
You'll get arthritis well before you're 50. Oh, at least I have.
Yeah,
This
I
hand's
hope I'm taking care of myself well beyond that. Seriously.
I had to put the bricks. There you go. Put the bricks back behind. I forgot when we switched scenes. I took the bricks away.
That's right. I don't care.
Hughes, this one's for you, baby.
This guy's got an issue. He's got a problem.
DeWalt's better.
Who the fuck is this guy?
You know, I've been spending my money on the Husky, baby. They clip together too. I mean, and they're like.
I think the only thing I have packed out is the radio because I want it as a gift. I
We
want it in
were
a raffle.
scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and we saw somebody that had a stack of Husky boxes, and she scrolled through that shit and she just started fucking laughing, bro. Because she was like, "You gotta be kidding."
Speaking of the Pro Press,
Fucking Kraus.
well, speaking of the Pro Press, have any of you got the automatic copper cutters that by Milwaukee?
No.
Yes,
I've seen them.
Oh,
I've seen them, but
they're the ones you just put them on the pipe and you just push the button and it cuts it in 5 seconds. Those things are awesome.
There's a little round ones that are mechanical that it come like for
Yeah,
this
yeah, you just
half.
I
half
love
three
those.
quarter, you
Things.
just twist them.
No, they're
Just twist it and it cuts it.
It's an
You
M12
just
battery.
push down the trigger.
And it clamps onto whatever size you need. The jaw adjust, and like you said, it cuts within 5 seconds. It's really only good on hard copper. You can obviously cut soft copper, but much better on.
Oh, it takes forever.
I haven't. I've seen videos of them, but I haven't. I don't have that stuff.
I'm still unfortunately they've gone up in price, but I saw it at Home Depot for $100, and this was probably 4 months ago. And I just still couldn't believe it. I was like, how is this thing not $200? I thought it would be 200. So I just bought it right there for $100. And last time I went to Home Depot, I looked over and it had gone up to 150. So I got it at the right time. And I've used that thing and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like on my side hustle.
Man. Like I said, I think Luke's got a bright future ahead of him. For as young as you are, you seem very competent and smart. Keep at it, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man. Younger guys in this trade, we call them fucking, unicorns. Because, the sad part is, man, it's just not a lot of, like, younger guys or girls, to be honest. Like, I would love to hire a girl. I really would. I haven't had the opportunity to do it.
Can I tell you real quick? We've got a young apprentice. She's like 22. Her name's Jenna. She was a waitress at Waffle House. She joined a union, and she's in the apprenticeship program. They hired her, and she's splitting her time now between office work and in the field work. And all of the
That's
techs
awesome.
at my company are super impressed with her. In fact, the only thing hindering her now is the physicality of it. So we bought her a Featherlight 28-foot extension ladder because we're doing all commercial work. And we just want her to be able to get herself up there and do it on her own. But she is really impressive. She's come a long way, quick from where she was when she started. We are super impressed. And she's about the same age as Luke here, but she's inquisitive and wants to know and is smart and has moved, in my opinion, from a person I have to watch, because when you get someone new, doesn't know anything, you have to make sure they're not going to kill themselves or
Dude,
electrocute themselves or
some of
get
the
their, yeah.
I'm sorry, some of the girls that I know in the industry, they're absolute fucking murderers. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
my Coral Whale. Coral's a friend of mine, and she's a fucking maintenance tech. But Coral did exactly what she was taught to a T. She didn't try to like, oh, I'm gonna take this and put my little spin on it, or she did exactly what she was taught to do, how to do a maintenance, how to present it. She makes a fucking killing. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. Like I have 2 boys, 2 girls. I would let my daughters go into the trade in a fucking heartbeat. If that's what they wanted to do, I would 100% let them.
Yeah.
I took my daughter to work with me twice this summer.
There you go.
I got a video on the tubes. I took her, and then I just took her last week with me. Just because I'm like, hey, this is literally something you can benefit from.
Absolutely.
Saying.
Well, she hired me as her manager, and she wants to know where the fuck her money is, Kraus. She said she agreed to certain terms, and she wants to be paid.
We had.
I don't trust, so good.
Oh, you're out. See ya.
We had she's not with us anymore, but she was a fully licensed female plumber, one of 20-something in the state of North Carolina. And I must say, I had respect for that woman. She was very smart. And if I had any sort of plumbing question, I'd always go up. She'd be the first one I'd call up and ask. And yeah, smart woman. And I also have a lot of respect for her for getting to the place she did in a man's field, because there are plenty of guys that would judge her. Oh, she's a woman. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, here, this
But
is my. Sorry, this is my oldest daughter. Let me switch cameras.
Yeah.
She wanted to hop. She wanted to come. This is Riley. Say
What's
hi,
up,
Riley.
girl? How you doing?
What's up?
Hi.
My daughter's 6, Gil. How old's your daughter?
She's 6, and my other daughter's 5.
I bet you.
Has she
I bet
ever
you my
rode with
daughter
you?
would have fun hanging out.
Yeah, she's like very, very like ADHD. So when she takes her like medicine, she's like a different child. Let's just say she took her medicine, so it makes her seem like she's like a stoner.
I know the feeling, girl. You're okay. We've all been there.
I know you took your medicine.
I was
That's a
on
good girl.
ADHD meds for, almost 10 years.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't have gotten through school without them.
Well, she always says, she used to say, even when she was younger, she would say, "Daddy, my brain won't stop." You know what I mean? And I would feel so bad for her, because like she would just like, she's very smart. Like she would be in school and she would get done her work, and then she'd be like, "All right, well, I'm gonna start messing with everybody else because I'm done my stuff." So once we started getting that stuff together, she's been awesome. Plus, they're happy. We leave for vacation next Saturday, so.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're just going. So Kraus will know. It's just I have a beach house in Ocean City, Maryland. So.
Oh, you got a beach house, you mother.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Oh, it's all right. She can't hear. She can't
I'm just
hear.
playing.
Yeah, it's in my ears.
Does she ride with you ever?
Huh?
Does she ever ride with you?
She would. So they come to my office. I mean, I've been a tech for 20-something years, but now I'm the COO of a company, so I'm in the office. I still go out in the field as much as I can because I love being a tech, but now it's making sure that the business is, the X's and O's part is there. But now I really love the training. I love to train the guys and cover different things. Like I tell them, like something as dumb as the refrigeration cycle. I'm like, being able to draw the refrigeration cycle is one thing. Being able to know exactly what that refrigerant is doing, like if I say it just left the evaporator coil, what is it? You know, that's knowing it. So I try to go through and detail different things so that all of our techs like really know what they're doing. Because I always tell them they're technicians first. Like, yeah, you want guys to be able to offer systems and stuff like that, and whatever. That's kind of the name of the game. But they're always technicians first, and if you're not a technician first, then you don't work for me. That's how that works.
Gil, I got a question.
Sure.
Weren't you giving something away tonight?
Yes.
Have you
yes.
done that?
Let's think of
Let's give
Well,
somebody
first,
something. Well, I'm not going to speak for you, but
We're at the coast. Are you Bayside or are you Oceanside?
So the place we have, so this is actually, it's right over the Delaware line, but it's like, the house is huge. It's like a fucking mansion. I mean, mansion. Sorry, I cussed and I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh,
Sorry, Daddy said bad
Oh
words.
man, I do the same thing. It'll just come out.
She said, "I don't care."
I'll be like, cover my mouth. Oh crap, there's a kid there.
Yeah, she knows that Daddy has a bad mouth, but it's adult words and she can't say it.
Daddy has a potty mouth.
Yeah, I do. I still try not to say it around her, but
Are you guys going to the symposium that Brian's gonna do next year?
I don't know. I want to go to the symposium. So
I already got tickets.
Yeah, so I have some different
already got
events.
tickets,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be a guest speaker at the Women in HVAC R thing in,
Okay.
in Arizona. I don't know. I'm going to a bunch of events that I don't even know yet. I know they're all booked.
Okay.
That's something my wife does. But what you doing, baby? But yes, okay, real fast. I'm gonna give away one. I got a couple of these to give away. Oh, wrong camera. Hold on.
Okay.
So it's one of the 7-in-1 Klein impact flip things.
those are pretty cool.
I've been meaning to get one, try it out.
Yeah,
A couple of my coworkers have them, and they seem cool. But don't have oil in your hands if you're trying to
Yeah.
flip that shit down.
Yeah, we bought one for all the tech. So one of the service meetings they came in, and I just had it sitting there for them.
That's cool.
Yeah, I tried little things. It was after a weekend that they got raped, so I figure. So I bought them breakfast and a few goodies. All right, let me see of a question that I can ask that would show that you guys are watching the podcast.
Oh.
All right, so this is going to be a 2-part question. What is the name of the person that I used to do this podcast with, and about roughly, give or take, how long has he not been with me?
I know this, Ian. I'm not gonna give it. I'll let somebody else.
If you want one, I'll just send you one, dude.
No.
Michael Smith.
No.
Michael Smith.
Yeah.
Wrong.
So guys, go ahead and put. Oh,
rookie.
Damn it.
Is rookie right?
Yeah, rookie's
Okay.
rookie's definitely right. So
All right.
go ahead, rookie. I'll send you one. Somebody, because I knew rookie would know. The next person, I'll give them one too, because I have another one.
Here's a question we could ask Gil. Are you looking for a second answer to the same question?
No, we can ask a different question.
How about you propose a question to what state the refrigerant might be in something in the refrigeration cycle, like entering or this or that?
There we go. We can do a
question, right?
a
Like at this
refrigerant.
point in the refrigeration cycle, the refrigerant should be,
Yeah. So, okay.
All right.
If we are at the bottom of the condenser, what state is the refrigerant at the bottom of the condenser coil? What state is the refrigerant?
That's the question.
That
I'm
is the
looking
question.
for your answer in the comments.
All right, and I'll give another one of these. So one of these goes to rookie. And then the next one will go to the person. And just so you know, all these prizes, I'm going to ship out here in a day because I want to make sure all the stuff's gone before I go on vacation.
I saw the first one was Sam Andrew Hot Liquid Subcool. subcooled liquid. So it's Sam Andrew was first, and then duct worker.
Yeah, Sam was first, and Sam was just the winner of the book too. He won the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Sam
cool.
was the. So Sam was the first one. So Sam, I'll send you this. I already have your address. The book and stuff is coming from Craig and AC Service Techs people. So they're shipping that directly to you. I will ship this to you. I got some other gifts though. Don't worry. Well, let's hang out for a little bit. You guys just stay. So both of these Klein things are gone, but here, hold on. I'll show you some of the other stuff. I have all kind of goodies, dude. I have boxes under the stairs that aren't even here. Hold on, baby. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll start grabbing some of the other stuff.
Well, it's dinner time.
Dinner time. Yum yum. Bon appetit.
Poor mouth chili, dude. Chug it.
Yeah, pull out
You
some
better
Wonder
chug it.
Bread.
Poor mouth chili.
Wonder Bread and some Coke.
Awesome.
We got some sriracha, some of that in there.
I like old.
I got
Handy Luke.
I got some Velveeta cheese. Probably put some of that in there.
Awesome.
That's MRE stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
MRE stuff.
This dude is a beast.
Just get a spoon and
Luke, start yourself a YouTube channel. I think you could do really well. I really do.
I have a YouTube channel.
Oh well, yeah. I think I'm subscribed to it actually. No.
So
I should just make a video, cooking videos.
Yes.
I have a inspection camera.
And I got a Voodoo Ranger to go with it to wash it
There
down.
you
So
go. And I got a Klein
That was
meter to
awesome.
give away too.
Freaking Luke is the man. What was that, Gil?
I have a Klein. It is their Klein HVAC meter to give away,
Oh, that's a good one.
and I have I've had this for a while. I had a bunch of them. It is this Subco WS100 Wi-Fi inspection camera that you hook your phone up to it.
Really?
Yeah, I got a couple of those too.
I have a rigid sea snake from the early 2000s. You know what a
Oh.
rigid sea snake is?
Yeah, they're nice. I'm trying to remember the rigid one that I had. If that was the sea snake.
I have the sea snake, but I've only used it like 4 times, but it does not connect to your camera or your phone. You can't record anything with it. It's so that's a nice prize you're giving away there.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, so the one that I have now that's mine personal that I don't use, but I'll never let it go is I have at the time the newest Milwaukee one where it's like the what the hell are you doing over there?
He
having a
opened a
MRE.
can of Hormel chili.
you gotta.
He dumped in some Velveeta. You missed it while you were going to retrieve the tools.
Had some sriracha. Probably had
It's some
some
sriracha.
Oh man, dude, it's like I feel
Yeah,
like it's
I
one of
know.
those like prison Instagram videos, you know? It's busted, busted. Oh yeah, Sam. I was trying to remember who the other one is. I'm writing on the back of these things.
Oh,
You see
my
the
Sam's
MRE?
been tearing
This
up
guy
my
has
fucking
videos.
giveaways, man.
He
You
has
got
the
a
MRE guy.
horseshoe up your ass, Sam.
I like that book he won. I'm actually kind of jealous of that. I would have liked the book.
Yeah, I'm going to let me set these back over here. These are gone. Yeah, I might do something with Craig. So it was so awesome to meet him, dude, because I watched his videos. Like, I mean, so being able to talk to him, you know, kind of like a fanboy. I'm like, hey, how you doing, Craig? You know, but yeah, he's a very, very cool dude, very, very smart guy, and what he does, like, being smart and knowing something is one thing, but being able to explain it to others is a whole nother thing. And he's very good at teaching, explaining it to somebody else. So,
And he's super nice and like very family oriented. When he came down here for the symposium, I talked to him for quite a bit. That they had family that were close by, and then he said they were going to travel down. They do homeschooling for all their kids, and they're religious base. Travel down the road, go back up for a certain amount of time. But like being able to enjoy the time with your family while you educate and teach them is pretty impressionable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No.
and
Yeah.
the first night that he scheduled it. So when he first scheduled to be on the podcast, so obviously the podcast is Wednesday nights. Every once in a while, I'll book special episodes, either Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday or Friday. I only do that for certain people. Otherwise, they have to wait. You know, the podcast right now, the Wednesday show is booked out till like December. So if it's cool people like Jeff J-Dem from HVAC, I got Flintstone booked.
Ryan Hughes, man.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah, Hughes. I told him I'll send him a link. I told Hughes to come on, man. You know, so people like that I don't want to make them wait. I'll give them that other link. So when I gave it to Craig, long story short, he booked for July 4th, and I was like, well, I don't know if we're doing anything, and I was like, well, I think my kids are gonna say fireworks, but you know, I want to do the podcast, and I didn't want to wait. I was kind of excited. He was like, dude, go be with your family, man. We'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, he's a really cool dude.
I like.
You like
Well, guys,
fireworks?
I think I'm about to bow out. You might have another guy in the. I see you can only do 4 at a time, so
Yes.
I think I'm gonna fall out, but I'm gonna continue to watch, and I'm gonna be in the chat where I can, you know, talk to some other people. But Gil, thanks for having me on. Kraus, you're the man.
You the
Luke.
man.
Of course, buddy.
Nah.
And take it easy, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks,
Quick
man.
question: have any of you ever read this book?
No,
No.
I didn't know that book existed.
It
There
looks
you
like
go.
it's from the 1920s.
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
That's cool.
This
The
thing
Lost Art of Steam Heating. Who is
Yes.
that by?
Yeah, I feel
Dan
like that's
Holohan.
like reading one of those books of like 300,000-year-old language. It's like
Yeah.
nobody speaks it anymore.
It's got all sorts of stuff
I've
in it.
I've worked on a
Every-
few residential steam boiler systems, and a lot of them were there was steam shooting out of elbows. You know,
Oh yeah, that's not good. Where are you located?
I'm in Western Pennsylvania, real close to Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of them up there.
Yeah,
So are there companies up there? I know is it like it is what it is down here where there's like 1 or 2 companies that specialize in it, and then all the other there's plenty of companies, most of them won't touch old steam systems or
Well, I worked for 13 years for a non-union residential heating and cooling company, and then I moved on to commercial, to what I've been doing ever since. And at the time where I was doing my residential stuff, I got to work on a bunch of steam boilers. Actually, I worked on some churches that had steam boilers, but I was young then. That was 15 years ago, and so I was pretty much just a helper at that point in time. But I really enjoyed the boiler work and the steam work that I got to see, but I didn't pursue it because I had moved on to a whole different aspect of the industry. But it was super cool. And I remember this one house in particular, they had a steam boiler, and you had to keep that the low water cutoff had to be, it was critical because then it was a major problem if you ran out of water. But yeah, they had their big pipes. I mean, they must have been 1.75 inch, maybe 2 inch black iron pipes right through. But
3 inch.
I heard the only.
Yeah. And then I liked the way that the steam heated and then it condensed and ran down through all the other. It was a complete system, these houses. And we picked up, because we were putting air conditioning in, and then picked up the heating end of it as well. And back then I didn't know, like I said, I still don't know it all. I don't know anything, to be honest with you. I know just enough. But it was super cool. I liked working on the steam boilers and the boiler systems. It was quite interesting.
Steam is fun.
Heck, before I even got into the current company I work for, before I even went to work for them, there was a neighbor that had a steam boiler. And the problem she was having was she had a heat pump installed, but she preferred the steam. And the problem is the side of the house with the boiler on it, the side of the house with the boiler would get about 2 to 3 degrees hotter than the other side of the house. And all the radiator vents were leaking. The packing nuts were leaking water. So I just decided to replace all the vents. And down in the basement, there were 2 big main vents, or small main vents. And I put in 2 big Gort #2 main vents. And what happened was, after I put those in, the steam it would not go up to the radiators until it went and closed both those vents. And once both those vents closed, then the steam would start going up to the radiators, and they would start heating up at about the same time. And then I put on adjustable vents on all the radiators, and just adjusted them according to the size of the radiator. And so from there on, the house kind of heated evenly. So some people will put on, if a radiator's far from a boiler, they'll put on, the biggest vent possible. But what you really want to have is you want to have the mains heat up before the radiators heat up. You want to put a vent on a radiator according to its size, not how far away it is from the boiler.
It's Luke.
But yeah, cut a good amount off for gas bill.
He's got a head on his shoulders. I'm impressed, Luke.
Kraus, real fast.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, Kraus. Were you in the Blue On commercial?
No, I was never. You wouldn't see me on here, Gil.
Hughes was. Hughes
Was he?
Yeah.
I was in a commercial.
You didn't see that? Yeah, there's one of the commercials. What you know how like when you film yourself and you send it to them or you send it talking about them. You made one of them. You're in there.
Oh, I didn't know that. Where can I find?
I believe Frylock was also in a Blue On commercial.
Shit.
Yeah, Michael Bemko.
She can't hear you. It's in my.
He looks
my
a lot
things.
like he looks a lot like Cross. He
I'm
looks a lot like he has a beard and everything.
I was never in a commercial.
I didn't know I was in a Blue On commercial.
Yeah,
Yep,
I have some stuff with them that's coming down the pipeline soon.
Well, where's my money? No,
Yeah.
I'm just playing. All right, guys, I gotta bounce. Hey, Gil, thank you.
What's up, man?
Luke,
Thank you.
Have a good
take
one.
it easy, guys. Everybody,
Nice meeting you.
I'm gonna hop out. Nice meeting you too, bud.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you, man.
How do I get out of here? Click.
I'll kick you out. Hold
Hang
on.
up. This is hang up.
There you go. I'm gonna leave that open. If somebody else wants to hop back in, I will copy it and put it back in there.
Look, I didn't answer. You didn't answer. Okay, so you're on the other side of the Ocean City line. Are you in Fenwick Island or anything like that?
It's right. So this is actually the first time that I've been to this this beach house. To be honest with you, I know that it's right on. It's right on the Delaware line, and it takes us like 20 minutes to get to downtown, Ocean City. But the property, like, I'll show you pictures, bro. Like, this house is fucking huge.
For sure. My aunt has a spot right behind the original Green Turtle on whatever area that is, the original Green Turtle. She lives back there. And then we had a spot in Delaware on like Rehoboth, it was in Georgetown or Milton. You know the country singer, who's the dude? The black, what's his name? Jimmy Allen.
Gotcha.
He's from right there, dude, by Rehoboth, right in there. My mom had a spot right there, and it was just enough out the way where you were in the thick, because Ocean City blew up since we were kids. Like when we were kids, you go down there, no problem. Boardwalk be empty as it all get out. Get your boardwalk fried golden or Thrashers.
Yeah.
And now, man.
It's crazy, and I mean, and we have like trips planned for like Disney, and I'm going to Texas to see my in-laws and stuff. So, Ocean City, like, it's not like some great place. It's more about being with the family.
Yeah.
It's a week, and that house, like, I'll take some videos and get down there. Like this, it's way more than we need, dude. This place is fucking huge. It's got a golf course, huh?
Gonna crab?
I'm try, yeah, because you can do everything. I'm gonna rent yeah, because it's got water right behind it. There's a golf course, like a couple of pools in this community I can use. So Yeah, a golf cart comes with the house.
Nice.
So, and if God forbid that one, my brother was, I mean, somebody was down there and said that it ran. If it doesn't, then I'll just rent one.
Hell yeah, absolutely, dude.
Why
That'll
is
be
this
bad.
not going? There we go.
I did in years. Like I said, I used to go all the time because that's where my mom side of town we go get grotto stuff like that. Then my grandparents live in Ocean Pines. So everybody knows Ocean Pines, like where the old people retired. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, you can't beat that. Well, Alex, aren't you like down there? Like, how is it like a lot of touristy area down there, right?
Yeah, there's like a couple of spots on the island where it's like most of tourism. I live on the northwest side, so I'm like 10 minutes from one of the the three main airports that are here.
So when you guys do power, are you like the US? Are like your power plugs? Are you guys like,
Yeah, it's normal. Yeah, normal 60 hertz power plugs.
Oh, okay. Nice.
What changes that what changes like if you do commercial, if you do a lot of commercial work, there's different types of plugs and sockets, but they're used. I mean, whatever you find in the whatever's in the in the national in the code, it's used. There's no
Nice.
like nothing odd or weird.
Yeah, I know because I know there's parts of like in Mexico, like I've been to some resorts in Mexico that their plugs aren't. It almost some like look like the European plugs.
Yes, because that's what areas where they use everything's 220.
Yeah. So, well, it's only when you go out of some of the resorts, like some of the big resorts, some of those still look
Because
Americanized.
in their three phase power is not. They have 208. They don't have they have 208, but they don't use 460. They use 380, and then they go from 380 to 440, and the configurations and the color codes change and all that stuff.
Nice. Here, guys.
I just know it. I just know that because of the references that like in books. So some of the instructions that you read in Spanish, make reference to it. So
Yeah, I don't.
that's how I know it. That's how I know it exists.
I don't speak a Spanish. I took 3 years. Yeah, I took 3 years of Spanish. I actually like when I got to the Spanish class where you had to speak Spanish the whole time in class, and I still can't remember it.
Go to Don Pablo's in Owings Mills, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's where we went for our vacation.
I want this. Here, if you guys want, I'll come back and I'll give something else away. If you guys hang tight, talks amongst yourself, I'm gonna take her upstairs. She's gonna pass out, and she's not gonna go upstairs if I don't take her.
Girl, you're good. She just wants to rest.
Yeah, it's funny because she's normally a mommy's girl. The other one, she's the one that's normally up my butt.
That's how my boy is, man. He rocks and rolls with mom, and when it's game time, I'm out here in the garage. He's ready to rock with daddy. It's crazy.
What's up, RJ from Texas? Sorry, somebody else popped in. I find Sam the link. It's in there, buddy. I just put it in if you want to come in. Just wait a second. I'm gonna take her up to bed real fast, and then I'll be right back. Hold on.
Good night, sweetie.
Night.
Night. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Say good night, everybody. I don't want to.
So, you live in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And you live in
Northwest Aguadilla.
North Carolina.
Okay.
What part of North? I live northwest.
I live in Durham, North Carolina.
Durham.
You ever heard of Ellerby?
Ellerby, yeah.
My brother's.
Ellerby.
That's where Andre the Giant lived.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, awesome.
Well, my stepbrothers that I grew up with, they're from Ellerby. We're originally from Maryland. Moved there, grew up till they were like 16. But like nobody knows Ellerby because obviously North Carolina's got a lot of small pockets in it. And
yeah.
every time I mention it, because it's about 30 minutes outside of Charlotte, but it's so small, like nobody knows it.
I've heard of Ellerby. Heck, there's also a creek about 3 blocks away from my house, Ellerby Creek.
Okay.
But yeah, I've heard of Ellerby. I know. Yeah, there is a town named Ellerby.
So most of your stuff is either attics or crawl spaces, ain't it?
Yes, there really isn't too many units in closets now. I've seen few, but yeah, it's mostly attics and crawl spaces. Oh heck, last or 2 weeks ago, I saw the first, or I'd helped work on a system that was on a induct, like the slab ducts in the slab, which
Get out
is
of
pretty
here.
stupid. Yeah, have you ever seen a system like that? Ductwork in
No.
the slab? They're common. I've heard they're much more common in like the Midwest, like Ohio.
That's
But it sounds as stupid as it does. It is as stupid as it does or sounds, but
it would be like an insulator, right? But
they'll just the system that I saw. I wasn't really working on the unit itself, but we were looking in the ductwork. There was a leak under the house on a supply pipe that we just couldn't get to, and it would flood the slab ductwork.
oh my gosh.
And yeah, the stuff was
Really?
full of rust and concrete and mold. You know, I'd like to meet the brain surgeon. The genius that invented that stuff, because then it gets wet, you grow mold, and then when the system comes on, you blow all the spores into the house.
Right into oh, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous what they
it
think they
is.
more than the next guy, and then when you try to contradict what they say, you're in the wrong.
Exactly.
Hey, he's
Hey,
right on
Yeah.
that one.
real fast, guys. Thank you, Jason, for coming, buddy. Anybody who's leaving, thank you guys for coming in the chat. Trying to pay attention to some of you. Just so you know, if it's a question, if you put it in all caps, it'll draw my attention. And also, HVAC Rookie, one of the moderators, he
Big Scott.
yeah, he messages me. He'll let me know if there's something you post that I don't see. We have another spot. If somebody else would like to hop in, I'll put it in here again. So I'll probably keep this going for. I mean, I ain't got shit to do. I might sneak off and smoke a cigarette here soon because I'm a fucking crackhead. But
Bro, you smoke cigarettes and you vape, bro?
dude, the vape is like I only vape because I don't smoke in my house.
Yeah.
But it
You got a basement that you can walk outside to, don't
Vapes are
Yeah.
okay, but I love cigarettes, man. I quit a couple months ago. Just I don't want to, But man, cigarettes, they were good. I miss them.
dude, I've been smoking for years, man. I just
Yo, everybody smokes, man. It's weird seeing, like, if you look at our new generation, it's beyond them to smoke. It's weird. I don't smoke, but like my younger brother, younger sister smoke, and 4, 5 older, they all parents, and I'm the only one that doesn't smoke. And to see other people smoke now that are younger than me, it's so weird because they just
yeah, I don't do all that shit, man. I got one of the I don't got one of those big giant like fucking like
Yeah.
rape my mouth. Yeah, I just have
My
like
wife, my wife smokes on them things, dude. Instead of cigarettes, really. I mean, regardless, I don't know what the science is behind it yet. Cost of a whatever costs as much as a cigarette. Goes through that week or whatever. I don't know if and knows what it's really going to do if you get the popcorn lung and all that jazz. But jeez, Louise, bro.
Man, some people, I've seen weed carts being passed around. Yeah, some people can work like that. I tried it once, I admit, and it was stupid. And never again. Never again.
I say good.
I'm saying on the job. Like people like hit carts on the job, and it's just like, holy shit, how do you do that?
Dude, some of the best technicians I know, I ain't gonna lie, they smoke it on the job, and I'm not like encouraging it, but
Yes, he is.
they
I
they
mean, I'm
know
not against it if it
they
works for you.
it, I mean, they know what they're doing. When like I don't
Yeah.
like legitimately the only thing I do, I drink beer. Um, but when these dudes get on the job and they smoke weed, it's like Adderall for them, and it gets so pinpoint, and they just do their thing. They focus, they wire nut everything so beautifully. They test everything. They read the colors so nice. I'm like, bro, are you sure that's like not mushrooms or something in there? You know what I mean?
That's what it's like for me when I smoke. It's like I'm just looking like, whoa, man, look at all the
Yeah,
colors and all that. It might be flashbacks, but
for sure.
Time to
yeah,
fly.
it ever since I tried psychedelics, it just was never the same. And I mean, if they do it, if it works for them, more power to them. Like, I'm not against it at all, but it don't work for me.
Well, Aaron Rodgers got his 4th MVP because of psychedelics. So if that means anything to anybody,
Yeah.
we do.
Guy in the
Yeah.
chats, Ryan Benitez says I was trained by a guy that couldn't work. Couldn't
Oh.
couldn't work if he was high, or he couldn't work if he wasn't high.
For sure.
Wasn't couldn't work if he wasn't
Yeah.
high. I know some people like. I mean, I'm okay with weed. I mean, I used to be a stoner back in the day. I don't really smoke now, but I don't know. I couldn't work and smoke just because it just I don't know. It wasn't for me, but I know some people that you know they toke and they're fucking superheroes. They'll do anything.
Like, yo, you keep smoking, you keep figuring out these conundrums, and you do your thing, bro. Because, like, how you figured that out, it's beyond me.
Yeah, well, dude, this is probably a bad story to tell because it's not.
No, let's hear it, bro.
I wasn't very good back then, but I was doing commercial. We were actually at the Queenstown outlets.
Queenstown, baby.
Yeah, the 30150 split, and that was back when you know I was doing a little rush to the yayo, and we're doing this maintenance on this big fucking building, and I'm with this guy, and we come upstairs, and I'm like, hey, he's like, hey, you want some of this? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Well, he just did a line that was huge, and he's like, yeah. I'm upstairs. He goes down the ladder. He comes up carrying a fucking compressor that we were waiting for a crane.
Yo!
He's got this motherfucker on his shoulder, and he's like,
God.
fuck,
Oh
waiting for
my
a crane. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, he had like superhuman strength. Like, it was, yeah, that was, Christ, that's a long time ago.
I was working with a plumber, and he was a good guy. I enjoyed working with him. And he had a weed cart, a little tiny pen, and he was hitting it like nothing. So he kind of offered me a hit. So I take a hit, and I felt a little something, but I didn't. It was like I didn't feel like it helped me work, but it was kind of there, and didn't think much of it. Well, a little while later, I was riding with him a different time, and he was hitting it again like nothing. He was just taking puff after puff, just nonstop. And he's like offering me, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take a puff, and I take a good puff, and I cough for about a minute. So already that's a bad sign. And about 5 minutes later, my vision starts to lag. It's like a laggy video game. I'm just like, I'm just sitting in the truck. I'm like, I tell him, I'm just like, oh shit, dude, this is not good. And we have to go to this lady's house, and I'm just like stone, like, hey, how's it going? I'm not sure if she could tell or not, but I'm just like standing. This guy's working on her shower valve, and my vision's just warping. I tell him, I'm like, dude, I can't do this. I've got to go home.
You start
We had to
hearing
go back to the shop to get parts.
Luke, are you high? Luke, what are you doing, Luke?
Yeah. And I was just, yeah. So we went back to the shop, and like I pulled out of the parking lot, and according to some friends of mine working there, they said that it took me like 2 minutes to pull out. And I can tell you that on my ride home, I didn't go up 25 miles an hour, and I took the back roads. So, needless to say, that was a good lesson learned. That was not for me, and I'm never doing that again. So, yeah,
That's
lesson
hilarious.
learned.
Hey, we all have it. Jason Johnson said this talk about
They've been
weed
there.
brings back the old fond memories. The mid
Bro.
90s skunk was awesome. Yeah, man,
My-
back in those days, I was all about the.
It was a wrap,
Dude,
right?
a vape will mess you up.
Yeah.
It's just
where
Go ahead,
did
Kraus.
where'd your pops work back in the day?
So my dad ran all the maintenance for all of the Horn and Horn, White Coffee Pot, Cactus Willie's restaurants.
Okay. You ever heard of LRM?
Oh,
Right on the corner of Patapsco and Hammond's Ferry, right?
LRM.
It was Luke Reed, Mass. Was the name of the bit. If you ask, well, no, is your father still around?
It's all good.
Right. There was this one guy my dad always told me. I know my audio's.
Yeah, it's going in and out.
if you turn off your camera, that might help it. That's what I do. My
I
attitude. Can you shut off your camera?
don't know. How do I do that?
I don't know if you can do it on here.
So my dad would come to a job. There was an older head. He'd come up on the roof. The dude would be butt naked, high as hell, just working with his tool belt around his waist, bro. Working on stuff. He said he never questioned him because the dude knew what he was doing. He'd get up on the top of the ladder, he'd see it, go back down, and that was it.
Dude, I did a call at a fucking nudist colony, and you know, and it's in like the, where is that, Odington Arnold area, and I'm like, oh, nudist colony. I was younger. I'm in my I'm maybe like 25, and I'm like, oh, nudist colony. Yeah, most nudist colonies are not cool.
All the old hags.
Yeah, I was like, you know, this lady's got like one of those little like she ran a little store is where we were doing something. I was doing something to like the little like cooler they had there, reach in, and she's got like one of those little apron things with her fat boobies hanging out the side. I'm sitting down there like, ah. I was hoping that I wasn't gonna have to be the person that went back with the part. Thank God when I went to the first time it wasn't open, but she just was all about being nude. That's how they lived. Well, when I went back, and I feel bad because I don't know how. I mean, I know she was at least 18, but her niece was there. The niece was kind of hot. I ain't gonna lie. So I kept walking out and smoking cigarettes. I'm like staring at the niece. But that place is gross though. Most of those people there are people that you don't want to see naked. I'm definitely scarred. Yeah. I grew up in Sanford. Oh,
I worked with a plumber. He used to work in Manhattan, New York. And he told me about how he was working on job sites, and there'd be these women that would just, the building next door that would sort of just lay it out on the roof, just tanning naked in Manhattan, New York. And, yeah.
I guess buy that stuff, man, because, like, Lord knows.
Saw it in Miami. We have a family video like that. My dad with like the VHS back in the day. We went to Miami on vacation. In Miami Beach, it's not nude, but there's all kind of women topless, and some of them, you know, are on floats like butt naked, and like nobody says shit. It's just whatever. It's how they do things. And I'm talking like late 90s. I mean, I was probably like 12, 13 when I'm there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and these, matter of fact, it's like, so if I'm 13, it's like early 90s. These two chicks are playing paddleball like butt naked and like, I mean, I'm sorry, like topless, not butt naked. I'm sorry, topless. And you see my dad, when we watch the video, my dad's like this, he's filming us, and then he's like, he goes like this, and all of a sudden you hear my mom, she's like, hey, Gil, he's like, and when we still have the video, and when you watch that video, just, yeah, he's just creeping
Miami
over.
vacation.
Oh man, it's so funny.
Oh, uh,
Yeah, I've been trying to get all those VHS tapes converted over, like digitally, to keep those.
so like I wear pit vipers, right? And there's like an ambassadorship for them. The only way you can get them to sponsor you is you send a VHS, and it has to be a real VHS, not like the minis or whatever, the DVHS. It has to be like, I'm like, damn, how the hell do you find one of those? You know what I mean? So my
Walgreens.
mom, she would literally, this is how it was back in the '90s, and she would say, "All right, get ready for a picture." She had a big ass camcorder on the shoulder, and she'd like smile, and they'd be sitting at 15 while she recorded, and yeah, and then she would snap the photo afterwards. You know what I mean? It's just funny how far we've come, how digitally everything is to now. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, think about it, man. Like the phone that you carry in your pocket has more technology in than uh the first space launch. You know what I mean?
Ridiculous,
Super
bro.
That's
computer.
crazy.
Absolutely, dude. It's like we have the capabilities of everything in our hand that people had, not even the people in the '80s or maybe, obviously further beyond, right? People with it, the power they have is weaker than what the people back in that time had. You know what I mean? We have all this information at the palm of our hands, all these tools that we can take ability, like such as save things. Our nobody can take advantage of those capabilities to turn it into bigger things. You know what I mean? They don't utilize the technology. Like a lot of the guys in our field now are older gentlemen. And when I try to show, bro, when I started working in the field back in 2010, 12, 2011, my dad, homeboy still had the road, right? Like, Pops, got the GPS right here. You know what I'm saying? And he would not go with it. And like now, most people still, like a lot of the dudes still don't want to believe in like digital probes and things like that. It's like this where we are. Like the accuracy on that is like 0.00 whatever it is to compared to an analog gauge that you have to recalibrate every now and then. You know what I mean?
But
It's like
in all fairness, though, and you're right. So to me, digital is more about being efficiency because think about the accuracy. Like, when do we ever have to be within 0.00 of what we're doing?
that's point decimal exactly.
Yeah, but I think it's good. Like, I think every technician should learn on analog gauges because you should know where superheat and subcooling come from. Because if you're just given to it, yeah, and if you don't know what it's supposed to be, then what the fuck's the point in knowing? Like, oh, my superheat is 40. Okay, well, what is it supposed to be?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's supposed to be this, so what do? Are you adding refrigerant? Are you taking refrigerant out? What's your subcooling? You know what I mean? Like, you got to know all the pieces of the puzzle.
For sure, no, I agree with that 100%. It's like, but if you teach them in the new realm of things, right? Like we know where, like back in the day, dudes would go off like, all right, it should be say for our 60 or whatever, do whatever for your high side.
Bro, you
But
got a
you,
fan on or something? Because you're like it's in and out, in and out, in and out. Like it's getting worse.
Yep.
Yeah.
all right, well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hop off here, and if I want sound, I will. If not, it'll be my either later, y'all, or I'll see you
Just
in a
hop
few.
off. Just hop off.
He said, "Thanks you for coming on, man. Hopefully you can come back on." See you, buddy. Let me switch back. Does anybody else here? I'm gonna switch to. I'm just gonna turn the names off so we don't. Let's see. Here, I'm just gonna turn the names off. Bing bong bang, bing bong bang, bing bong bang. Actually, Luke, you're good. I just gotta give you. I'm gonna give you that spot, and I'm gonna turn off the name so you're not Brett. There we go. Oh man, yeah, he was getting bad. So guys, I knew that Kraus. I knew that he was cutting it in and out. So it was getting okay sometimes, but it was getting bad towards the end. So hopefully he can come back in because Kraus is a cool dude. Sorry
I was
guys.
wondering if it was me or it was, him.
No, it was running like that for a while. I'm like, maybe it's just on his side or my side, or sometimes on your side it goes, and somebody else's side you don't see it. So
Yeah, well, I want to make sure it's not me because sometimes if you have like, so I use a thing called a noise gate. A lot of people know, like, I smoke like a chimney. So sometimes during the podcast, you hear like you hear me breathing because I fucking smoke so much. Well, the noise gate that's built into these things helps cut that out. So as I stop talking, it shuts down.
uh,
So sometimes those are built into an application, and if you don't have it, that's what it sounded like to me. Like it was like in and out. But I know he's using a phone, so normally a phone doesn't have that. All right, let's.
maybe he had a bad connection or something.
Yeah, well, he was in his garage on a cell phone. Who knows what it was. Trying to see. First and foremost, man, I want to thank everybody for coming out for the chat for this first hangout, man. I want to get back to doing these hangouts again. Like I said before, when I do a podcast, I'm so concentrate on the guest that I can't always see the chat. So that's why in here sometimes when you guys are talking, I can be looking at the chat just trying to pay attention to people. So if anybody, I got 2 more spots. If anybody wants to hop in, I can post the link again. The number's up there. If you don't want to come in but you want to call, you're more than welcome to call, and I will turn the phone up and you can call in. So that is the phone line 410-422-1000.
What
Oh,
was
you're
neat what you were
welcome,
saying?
brother.
What you were saying about the gauges? I use both. I have a set of digital and I have a set of analog. And sometimes you learn the good old. Well, it's just for me. It was just learning how to. It's math. You subtract, you add, and subtract. So it was knowing what, like for one, you would say, oh, line temperature minus whatever temperature on the gauge. You use a chart or whatever, and that's the numbers I get of like
Yeah, well, one's going to be line temperature minus saturation. The other one's going to be
yeah,
saturation minus line
rotation
temperature.
minus
So,
function.
yeah, well, it's
I just-
that's why I say that I think digital gauges are good. Like once you know what you're doing, I think digital gauges can make you more efficient. You can get the numbers you need. You can know what's going on quicker. You can see those little micro adjustments. As you're going, as you're adding refrigerant, you can see it a little
Yeah,
bit
swinging,
quicker.
going. You see the swing.
Yeah, but it's just like anything else. You have to know what you're doing and things like that. Like you don't see too many, but like digital gauges, like now in the days, like trying to in residential, you don't see too many adjustable TXVs. But when you have to adjust a
It's just set.
TXV with analog gauges, it fucking
Oh yeah.
blows. So when you can have a digital gauges and like an app where you can be inside adjusting your TXV, and then seeing what's going on, it makes it so much easier. Normally that's more of a commercial industrial kind of thing. So
You could use also. I've used two. They actually had a I never had one, but there was a thermometer that would have 2 probes, and you would just hook one on the inlet and one on the outlet, and it will actually calculate for you. That was the old-fashioned way. It would give you a number, and then you would just compare it to a chart, or if you had a chart or PT chart, you could just look at it for each gas or refrigerant you were using.
yeah, PT charts are good. That's why, to be honest, some of the people just came in. What's up, man? Obviously,
You get everything HVACR on. Steve.
yeah.
You get it.
Come on, man. Here, I'll put the link in. You guys you're more than welcome to come in, man. We'll get this going. I'll keep this thing going for a little bit longer. If
Yeah, I
anybody,
like learning through analog gauges. It's just it just seems like more reliable. If you know, I could see
It's
myself
you.
using digital gauges, but you know, heck, I'd always want to have a pair of analogs with me.
Yeah, I always say to keep a pair of analogs. It's all good, Pat. It's all good, buddy. Message me and let me know about tomorrow, man.
I know
Um,
if for TXV hunting, you could see it. You see it. You could see it. You know, you have to have an eye for it on both, but on a needle, you see it more. You can see it more. You can see how it acts overall, how it's acting. With the I saw with the digital one, you see it more, but the like, it swings too fast. The numbers swing too fast, so you can't actually see what's going on. But with the needle, you would see, oh, it goes up, then it goes down, then it stays normal. Oh, then it goes up again, then it goes down.
well, you you
It's
you would. I get what you're saying, but you would still see that with digitals. You would just see the number
yeah,
go.
you will see it, but you would have to have an eye for it. Let's say
Yeah.
it like that.
Oh, we got somebody coming in. Let me get a 3-person guess. Let me add this. Who do we got coming in?
What's up? What's up?
What's up,
Hey,
man?
what's up?
Who's this?
I'm Ryan Benitez.
What's up, Ryan? How you doing, my man?
Good, man. Good.
Thanks for hopping in, dude. I like people that don't always pop in. What area are you from, my man?
I live in New York.
New York.
Oh man,
There you go. I'm Baltimore.
a lot of
We ain't
boilers in
that
New
far
York.
away.
The Hamptons.
Oh,
The boilers and window units.
A lot of boilers.
well, plus in New York, you got a lot of like water. You got like water towers, right? A lot of like water source units and stuff like that. In
Yeah,
the city.
I was asking before about geos.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did. I saw that comment, man. They come so fast, I couldn't see it. So yeah, how I personally feel about Geo. I think it is great technology in commercial applications, but when it comes to like residential applications, I feel like it's too expensive for what you're gonna get when it costs to, drill and put all the stuff in. To me, there's other options that you could spend less money and it'll be good enough. That's just my opinion.
Like right now, like let's say, like I've installed. I'm an installer. Like mostly new construction installer. That's what I do. Change outs. Most service. I can do it, but we've been having a lot of problem with geos because we don't have flow rates. I don't know if you guys know about geos, all you guys.
Yeah, I do. I've worked on a little bit of everything, my man. I started out doing all of the I don't know if that's gonna help or not, but I started out all industrial commercial stuff. Ammonia units, kitchen equipment, refrigeration, and then along the way, I just kind of backed my way into residential. I commercial and all that kind of stuff was more challenging for me. I liked that work was more challenging, but I'm a people person, so I think that's why I thrived in the residential market because I liked being that hero. I liked being that guy that goes in and saves the day for the customer, and it's their money they're spending. It's not you go into some business or some restaurant owner or whatever it is, and they're mad they're not getting their bonus because they had to fix the AC. It's like, well, motherfucker, you called me. I didn't just show up out of nowhere. So I've done a little bit of everything, but I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm some geothermal fucking whiz or nothing because I'm not. I understand the concept. It's it's a heat pump, and we're using the constant temperature of the ground as far as how we're dissipating heat versus using
Like
air.
like legitimately around here, like for some reason around here, like where I live here in the Hamptons, like a lot of people love geo.
Yeah, I bet, and for your area too, because you don't have a lot of, well, not all of New York, but I know when you get into New York City that it's you don't have a lot of space. That's why they build things up because you can't build out. So I get what they're doing, but most so when you guys do the geo there, are you doing geo like you're digging like the loops, you're putting the loops in the ground, I mean, what's the most common loops you guys are doing?
So we don't dig. What we do is we don't dig. We just come in and hook up. So it's mostly like some majority are closed loops,
Nice.
but it's just around here is money, money. You know what I'm saying? Like around here, money talks.
Oh, I bet. Money talks and bullshit walks. That's always
Yep.
that will
I did
always be the way.
I did VRF for a while, about 2 or 3 years, and I actually did setups. I learned how to commission it and all that stuff. But then the then the COVID came and I got kicked out. So I
Got
went on my
kicked
own.
out.
Yeah, I got kicked out. I had a I had a breakdown and they kicked me out. So then I work on my own now. Now I just do refrigeration and I do some AC work if somebody asks for it, but I mostly do refrigeration.
I miss some of the refrigeration, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't miss getting called 2:30 in the morning, having to wake up and go out. You
What I'm
know,
doing now is that I don't work for a company that does service. I work as my independent. I work for an equipment broker. They sell used equipment, so they'll bring used equipment in a container, and we'll just sort it out. We'll plug it in. Whatever works. They clean it up and they sell it, and what doesn't work, they put it to the side of the shop, and that's what I work on. I fix everything up. I
nice.
leave it in. I leave it in. You know, you fix it up. You leave it in a good state. They clean it up and they sell it.
Hey, there you
So
go. There's
it
there's a
makes
market for that.
and where there's a like I say, where there's a will, there's a way. So I learned how to do a lot of tricks. You know, little here and there things that you can do to not time wise not to waste.
Yeah.
Because
Sorry.
sometimes they'll bring a bad compressor, and when I first started, it would take me like forever. Now I do it like in an hour and a half, 2 hours. I have it all done, ready to go.
Yeah,
So I'm getting
compressors don't. It doesn't take a crazy
no.
amount of
It's really
time.
fat. It's really fast. Take two lines out, put one line in, put them back, put the dryer, solder, weld it, braze everything in, vacuum, charge to the weight on the label, and just hope everything goes good from
Well,
there.
it's more about, so it's not really about time. It's about being efficient. So when I say,
Yeah.
when you hear me talk about time, you never hear me say time. You hear me say efficiency. Um,
Yes, that's true.
like I said, everything I think about now is time is money. And
That's
I
right.
want to try to be the best I can possibly be, or my team can be, while
And
being
do
the
the
most
most
efficient.
and do the
Um,
most you can in a day.
yeah, but at the end of the day, I want shit done right. I'm not gonna be out there hacking things up,
No,
fucking
no,
not doing things right, lying to people. I won't fucking stand for it.
no. I
That's
hate
just
that. I hate that when you see that a lot. I don't know in your area, but
There's
I've heard and seen like people with sales. They do that crap all the time.
So,
I've
so
helped
pretty
That
much
one
where I
pisses me
tech.
off.
work at.
oh,
Huh?
Well, I've helped one tech that he came from companies that were like sales based, and it was just his motto is I just do what I need to do to get it running. I can't stand working with him. He's like, kind of impatient. Like he won't pull a vacuum down to 500 microns. I can't tell you, he's like, he'll talk, oh, well, I'll pull the vacuum for another 5 minutes and see how it gets down. And then 2 minutes later, he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just, it's good enough. And taping up run capacitors. Me and him have gotten in arguments about that. I'm like, dude, that's just shitting.
well, you gotta have
You know,
pride in what you do, man. And real quick is,
yeah.
people, it's ignorance when they talk about, if you go out and you fix a contactor, guess what? You just sold the customer something. Hate to break it to you, but you just sold them something.
Hmm.
So the way I teach it and the way we teach it to our team is, I want you to go out and be fucking thorough. I'm more worried about quality, not quantity. I'd
Oh
rather
yeah.
the guys be on a service call for 2-3 hours and only do 3-4 calls a day, and check over everything. Do everything you possibly can. Everything you see, bring it to the customer. Show them. Um, And then if it is an older system, a lot of times if you show them all the things that are wrong, they will bring up, well, damn, how much is it to buy a new one? So it's not our job to sell anybody anything. It's our job to be the fucking professional and explain things to them. And if you have that unit that's 35 years old that should be replaced, hey, if the customer says, hey, I just want to fix it, then guess what? You fucking fix it. It's not your choice. It's their choice, you know? But it's
That's what they pay you for. That's it like that.
exactly. You just got to be fucking thorough.
True.
Dude, Alex, you got like is that just the screen, or are you about to
I
get
don't
like
know. I got that
overtaken by like
fuzz.
flies or something, bro?
I don't know.
I don't
I don't know. I
know.
don't see anything, but if
Okay.
I see it on the camera. But
Yeah, as
oh,
long
the
as you're
camera's
good,
funny.
man. I thought you had like fucking, Revenge of the Moths or something about to come in and take you
Nah,
away.
I don't see it. Probably
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
I know I have a hole in the screen in the back there, but I don't
Oh
know if
shit! I
something's
just
in
hit
there.
the
So
wrong. I just hit the wrong button by
whatever.
accident. Ryan, how long you been in the industry, man?
For me,
Yeah.
10 years.
Nice. What how did you get into the trade? Like what made you get in? A family member? Like what was your path?
I got in the industry just for a paycheck.
There you go. So you got in for a paycheck because you know somebody that was doing HVAC and you're like, fuck, can I get a job? Like what's up?
Opened the newspaper and saw somebody was hiring and just took it.
Nice. Okay, so obviously 10 years later, you like what you do? Do you feel like you made a good choice? Or if you had a choice, would you do something else?
If I had a choice, would I do something else? Nah. I love HVAC.
Nice, man. That's good shit. This is a good industry, man. Like you can make legit money. It's just you gotta keep trying to better yourself. Is really what it comes down to. Like don't ever be satisfied at any fucking point at all. I've done very well in my career, but I feel like I could have been so much further along, and people can do so much more than I ever did. Like there's some smart motherfuckers out there. Like they know things on a whole nother level. It's just, it's crazy. But it all depends on
That's
what
what
you
I think.
want.
Like, there's a lot of people that know a lot more than you. Like my company, we didn't get any training. I just opened the newspaper, just did it. Right? It's on field training, but that's what my company does. Like they will not send you to school or anything else, but they'll just teach you. You mess up, they'll tell you messed up, and let's fix it, and we show you the right way. That's it.
Well, I mean, and that's fine. I mean, it's, should companies, train their employees? They should. I mean, I get it. It's tough times right now, and some businesses are, sending people away for these schools that cost, $10, $15, $20,000. It's like maybe not the best time. But I also put it like this: if you get like a professional football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport you want to think, those people that are at the top of their game, they don't just go to practice and then they go home and they're done. They practice on their own time. This is no different. You know what I mean? Like if you really want to be good at something, put in the fucking time. There's too many free resources out there. Podcasts, YouTube, books. Dude, I got books back there. I'll show you like books that I used to read where the highlight marks are still in there. I used to
See,
test
like I
myself.
listen to you guys. I'm always on podcasts. I'm always reading. I'm always doing this, that. Because for some reason, I just wanted to check, but yet I fell in love with my trade.
That's awesome.
I fell in love with my trade. So that's why I just keep like going. Like there's no stopping. Like I want to learn this refrigeration. I do also. I try to dabble with it, not as much, but what I can, I will. No matter what, try to sell myself everything I can do.
Hey, that's like you go out with your homie and you're a wingman. You're like, yeah, dude, I'll hang out with the dude's, sister or whatever, just so you can get your piece. Next thing you know, it's like, this chick's kind of hot. Maybe now she's your girl. You know what I mean? You fall in by accident. So it's good, man. We need more people in this industry. And That's why, like, I hate to say this, but I hate what my Facebook group has become. But I feel like because of the name HVAC Uncensored, it's kind of no way around it because I want people to be able to ask questions. Like, I get it. We're all fucking, blue collar fucking tradesmen, working class people. But we bust balls, we joke, and that's fine. That'll never go away. I don't want that to ever go away because I think we need that mentality for what we do. But we got to stop doing this where it's like we're afraid to help other people. Like if we give somebody else knowledge, like they're going to take our job, or I don't want this person to be better than me. Like that's just fucking nonsense and it's stupid. Most of us, most of us are never going to meet in person, or we're never going to, well, I won't say we won't meet in person because of some of these events. I've met Alex, I've met a bunch of people on here in person. But we're not going to be fighting for the same piece of the pie. You know what I mean? None of us on here, like, we're all in different states. We're in different areas. We're not going to steal each other's customers. We're not going to steal each other's job. What the fuck does it matter, I just feel like we got to stop getting that mentality and get back to being that brotherhood that, like, you can ask a question and
The
somebody helps
brotherhood that we
somebody.
should all have. Like,
Yes, exactly.
honestly, like
We
we
got
all
a
do the
saying.
same thing.
There's a saying that
Doesn't matter what country, what state, whatever we do the
they're
same
just
thing.
saying that they're just saying that the stupidest
Sometimes
question is the one that you don't
I
ask.
can go on Facebook and ask you a question. I just need a little bit of help.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. So, to be honest, some of my friends over at HVAC Overtime, they did it a little while back, and we didn't. I will definitely be in Atlanta, man. Come on, dude.
Yeah,
Um,
I already got it. I have everything ready.
yeah,
I just gotta get a hotel and that's it. But
yeah,
besides that,
I will always be at the AHR expos. I am I'm paid to be there, so I will be there. But fuck, now I forgot what the fuck I was saying. I don't know, but I need a cigarette here in a second, man. I'm feeling like a fucking crackhead.
Yeah. There's one tech that this is the same tech I work with, that the bad tech that I'm with occasionally, when I can't help it. Um, he got all pissed off at me. He didn't like it when I outshined him on this one job. We were at it was a nursing home, and the doors were locked. No one would let us in. And he started calling the office trying to get the code to get in. Well, while he was calling the office, I actually found the place's number, and I called them up. I'm like, hey, this is, the company I'm with. Do you have a code to get in? And they were like, oh yeah, sure. It's 1 2 3 4. And so I punch in the code, open the door, and I'm holding open the door, and I'm like, I yell over to the other tech, and he gets all pissed off. He's like, damn it, Luke, you're doing my job. That's my job, dude. I was about to go back to the office. I'm like, dude, I just got the building open. He's like, you're doing my job. Eventually I said, well, golly gee, look who's doing your job better. And he was like, oh, we're going to talk about this at the office.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, dang, dude, I got us in the building. He never did. He was full of it. But I'd like to see him get laughed out of the office. But yeah,
Yeah,
but
people get crazy.
I try not to ride with him. The only thing he teaches me is how not to do things. Um,
I was lucky that I had my dad, man. My dad taught me this industry, and he didn't. There was no bullshit. That there was only one way to do it, was his way. The right way to do things. And when I get frustrated, and he gave me the leeway to fuck up and learn from my mistakes. I was always naturally good at like wiring. Plus, what was good for me when I started out in that restaurant chain doing things. The owners of that place, I could blow up a fucking compressor and they wouldn't know. And my dad's like, what do you, like, I would always be nervous when they were around. And my dad's like, what are you nervous for? They don't know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, so just do it.
that's
You're
why
fine.
they're paying you.
Yeah, exactly. So it was, let's see, it's someone's job to open the
That's
door.
true.
Yep. Get in the door. I just feel like we need to, Like,
This tackets.
yeah,
He's just.
it, when it comes to what we do, man, like we should be proud of what we do as blue collar tradesmen, man. Like just like somebody says, I'm a doctor, I'm a fucking a surgeon, I'm a dentist. All right, well, I'm a fucking HVAC technician, I'm an HVAC specialist. You know what I mean? Like it's you should have pride in what you do. I do. I mean, I can't tell you how many
That's
people
true.
call me
You
wanting
have
my
to
want my
like. You have
service.
to like what you do, because
Yeah.
if you don't like what you
So
do,
let's
you're
say
gonna
like
get.
a bunch of people I work with that won't have pride of what they do. All
They're
they
just
want
there
is
for the
like the 40
paycheck.
hours. That's it.
Yeah, for a paycheck.
Well, and that's a
And
mentality, man. You ain't never
you have
gonna.
that mentality.
Yeah, until they change their mentality, that's all it's ever gonna be for them, though. And the sad part is when you have that mentality, you're never gonna make what you're worth, and you're always gonna go and your mindset is always gonna be, I'm only doing this for the paycheck, because they're never gonna get. They're never in their mind. They're never gonna get what they're worth. It's like anything in life, dude. You're only gonna get out of something what you put into it. You put in shit, guess what you're gonna get back?
You're gonna get crap. Yeah.
Shit. That's how it works. So that's the funny thing. People think that I put in my 40. Whoop de fucking do, man. Like we all put in 40. You know, put
Well,
put in
yeah.
40 and then
The,
put
the
in.
plumbers and HVAC techs that do more than just put in their 40 are the ones that get the promotions and the ones that have a good reputation at the company. And if they're in trouble, the company will help them out. If they all they have to do is ask.
Well, that
You
or the
know,
ones who take the risk to start their own companies, and I'm not saying that everybody should start their own company, because I've said this a million times. Being a technician and being a business owner is two different skill sets. Doesn't mean you can't learn it, but you have to know that you can be the best technician in the world and you can be the worst business owner. It's kind of like the same thing. People like when you're broke, if you can't save money when you're broke, you're not going to save money when you have it. Okay? That's just
That's
the way.
true.
You know what I mean? So it's people have these misconceptions, and we want things and we want them now. It's kind of like coming from an ex-addict, you have that drug addict mentality. I want it and I want it now. Well, that's not how the fucking world works.
You
I
gotta go out and get it.
exactly. I busted my fucking ass for everything that I have, and I would never be satisfied until the day that I die. I will always be grinding somehow, some way, to fucking, make money with having multiple revenue streams, and that's how you got to be. People get satisfied, and you want things, but you don't want them bad enough to do something. You know what I mean? They're like, oh man, like I want to do this, or I want to start my own company, or I really, really want to do this. You want to? Well, how bad do you want to? You know what I mean? Like, or I want to get a promotion. Okay, well, what the fuck are you gonna do to get that
Are you
promotion?
willing to go the extra mile? Are you willing to do the extra
Yeah.
work?
So the question like my company, people don't
Hold on,
want
buddy. I gotta put you on this one.
like
There you go.
me. I do my 40 hours no matter what. Yeah, I still think about my job every day. Like I go home, and be like, did I check that crane? Did I do that wiring correctly? Did I do this? I don't want. Did I do the best I could at the moment? Like let's say in a change out or something like that. Did I do the best I could? I just keep that in my mind all the time.
Well, that's good. It means you got pride in what you do, man. Like you actually give a shit. It's, you know, I remember like, and I know people joke, but I remember almost beating the dude's ass on a job one time when he looked at me. I said something like, "Hey, man, I can't remember what it was." I said, like that doesn't look right. Like we're gonna have to redo that. And he said, "You can't see it from my house." I said, "Bro, you better get over there and fix that, or I will smash your fucking face on the side of that furnace." Don't say that bullshit to me. You
You
know
know
what
how
I
many
mean?
times I hear that a week? I can't see that from my
Yeah,
house.
they
I
say,
can't see
"Oh
it from
yeah,
a
you can't
block
see it
away.
from a
I'm
plane."
like,
I'm like,
no, you can't do that.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
mean,
take pride in my work. What I do is what I do. And you have somebody saying like, "Oh, I can't see that from my house." I'm like, dude, I don't care if it's from your house. It could be a mile away, or you can be standing.
"You
You're
gotta do it.
standing
You
right
gotta
next
do
to
it.
it. Do it
You gotta
right.
do it nice." Yeah. Gotta do it
yeah,
nice.
and see, and I know, like, and I'm not gonna sit. I'm not some goody two shoes, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
gonna sit. You know,
Nobody
all of us
is.
sometimes hack something up. Like,
yeah. So I'm not saying that I've never done something, but like I tell people, it's learning. Everybody makes mistakes. It's about making new mistakes. You make a mistake, you learn from it, you make a new one. That's how we get better. That's just kind of the evolution of anything in life, especially being a tech. But
Process.
yeah, and I know some guys that'll joke and they've made that comment like, "Oh, you can't see it from my house." But I also respect those guys, and I know that they're gonna make it right. But this guy, I knew he was dead serious, and he was packing his shit up. He's lucky I didn't take his duck knife and stab him in his fucking throat with it. You know what I mean? When I put my name on something, I was never an everyday installer, but when I did do them or anything, like that's my name on that. You know what I mean? That's why I love Jeff Jdem HVAC when he does his fucking
Dude, that
installs.
guy's awesome.
Yeah, Jeff constantly tries to
He puts
up himself.
every single detail, and it's like pretty awesome because it's something that you think, I would do that, but you see the pictures and it just blows you away.
And the thing is for the longest time I thought Jeff worked for himself. He works for a company. What incentive? Yeah, listen. So what incentive does he have to do that? Because he could half-ass that job. He's getting paid the same amount. He does it because
he cares.
Exactly.
Yeah, you care.
He sets the fucking bar for himself. He raises the bar for the people at his company to want to do installs like that. Their customers see that shit, and now the expectation for the company. Things like that are how we raise the bar in the fucking industry for each other. You know what I mean? You got a guy at your company doing shit like that, and then you go do an install, and the customer's going to be like, what's this dog shit? You know what I mean? I want that guy on Instagram. You know what I mean? So that's how we hold each other accountable, is doing things like that. Everybody has bad days.
It's like at my company where I work at. A kid's just started this week. So I'm a type of person that looks like shit. I know no one's gonna see it, but the thing is, you did it, but just do it correctly the first time, so we don't have any problems in the future. So you can feel better about what you did in your 8-10 hours.
Yeah, it's just being able to go home at night and sleep at night. Like I've had years where I've done, almost $3 million in sales. But I can tell you when I sold $3-something million, I never sold anybody anything they didn't need. Ever. You know what I mean? Because my morals and my values and being able to sleep at night has always meant more to me than my fucking wallet. It always will. Like this podcast. You know how many companies have thrown money at me being like, "Hey, Gil, will you talk good about my product?" No,
go like that.
I won't. That's why the only ones that I do were ones that I use anyway. So getting paid to talk about them, it's like, oh, well, I will talk about them for free. And they know that. I mean, I would talk about them for nothing. So getting paid is just a perk. And that's just how I am. There was one not long ago that it was a good chunk of money. I was like, damn, that's maybe I could make one video saying I like it. It's like, just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But I'm like, they sent me something. It was some dog shit. And I was like, I'm sorry. I cannot make a video. I cannot tell other people that, they're going to send it to me for nothing, but you guys are going to spend your hard-earned money on it. And I'm not going to tell you to go buy something that I know is dog shit. You know what I mean? I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that to myself. Fuck, guys. I'm down to hang out for a little bit. We're good. I ain't got shit to do. But I need to smoke a cigarette. I'm like a fucking fiend.
Me too, because I'm
a
hard smoker.
Yeah, so if you want, we could take a little brief intermission. You guys can talk. If whoever's in here, talk amongst yourself. I'm going right out this side door, and I'm going to fucking smoke a dart real fast. I'll be right back.
Yeah, give me a minute. I'll be right back, too.
All right, buddy. Oh, and whoever's in the chat, you guys have waited this long. When you come back, I will give away those other 2 prizes. All right? So hang tight. Don't leave. I think there was some people dipped off. There's only 17 people watching. You're going to miss out.
Smoke dart.
Got the little music?
Phone overheated.
Put that up. Oh, your phone overheated? Oh, okay. Maybe I had it like on the bed or something. Like when you put it on a surface, like on a table or bed or something, like a blanket or.
I put it in the freezer. On the coil. That
You know what I
that
would
cools it
do?
off pretty
I would do
fast.
that
Now the phone,
when the messenger
it
come out. You take the I would turn on the car and put the AC on and just let it. I would like hold it a couple of minutes and turn it back on. Okay, turn it back on.
well, right now I put it in an old mini fridge I have, and things about it, it seems cold enough that it would start fogging up just by condensation. Um, but yeah, this old mini fridge I have, it's still running R12 refrigerant. I found it off
Yeah,
the side of the road.
I had
Still,
one. I used to take care of a hotel, local hotel. They
hmm
had 70+ rooms, and then what they would do is that when all the mini fridges would break, they would put instead of throwing it away, they would put them like in a storage shed. And out of two or three that were broken, I would make like two or three more. Like if one had a bad thermostat and the other one, the compressor was bad, and I found another one for a good compressor and it was all beat up, I would pull the compressor off of that one and put it in the other one. I had fun with that for a while, but I don't do
yeah,
that anymore.
a hotel that I worked at,
Huh?
I was replacing some CPVC lines with copper.
Okay.
They had a load of mini fridges in the maintenance room with like the commercial water heaters and the boilers and storage tanks. And but um, yeah, they just had like stacks of them that they were just using as cabinets.
And some, I remember I did take a couple. I did take a couple of back home. Some of them I gave away, or if I knew somebody at their house fridge would go, I would just give it to them and let them use it, bring it back. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Well, I've got two. One is a freezer, one is a refrigerator. But yeah, they're both Sanyo, and I both found them on the side of the road and plugged them in. And they worked fine.
You had to
One of
paint
them I
it.
put a longer cord on. That's
Did you
all.
paint them, or did you just like paint it, or that's it, or you just put a cord, like you said? That's it.
No, a cord.
You only did put a cord. You didn't paint it, or like sometimes they're like rusty or something.
One of them was kind of. It had several cuts in it, so it had to be replaced anyway. And the other one,
Uh,
the cord just wasn't long enough,
Ah,
so
so you
I
just
just
extended the cord.
I just extended it. And but yeah, they both work great.
That's pretty cool. I've done some of that stuff.
Yeah, they're the old Sanyo mini fridges. They have a wood paneling texture on them.
Yep, they do.
You can see they're both on top of each other, and one of them's from 1989, and one of them's from 1993.
Cool. They made these things to
So
last. They will never die.
I've
You
never,
actually.
it's only R12
That's why
refrigerant
I
that I've
started.
ever seen still in operation.
When I started
Wait,
out, I would
R12?
do. Yeah, R12. The
Yeah,
things are
they're
like 20+
R12.
years old.
They're both R12. Um, and that's the only R12 refrigerant system that I've ever touched that's still working.
I know we had I know there was a place where I used to work. They had a couple of them, like those mini fridges, and they had uh, they had an old freezer running 502, but I changed it to 404A because it leaked. It leaked out, and you couldn't find that stuff was too expensive at the time. So they went with a new compressor and put 404A in it.
There's one unit at the shop that I work at. The air handler is an old Carrier air handler, straight AC. It has a hydronic coil um, for heat. And according to the tech, that he's the original air conditioning tech at the company I work at. I have great respect for this man. He knows his stuff. He converted it from R500 to R22 back in 1995, and it is still running.
Those
Really?
things are
So,
made to run forever.
Well,
Those things are made to
yeah,
run
it
forever.
will run. I mean, it's
he put on, it had an R500 condenser. So he moved it to the roof and replaced it with the old brown turd Goodman and converted it to R22.
and it still works.
I'm saying
It
22
still works.
still like
Yes, it is still air
top.
conditioning the office. So
That's pretty.
that's just pretty impressive. We put in a little bit of R22 in it a couple weeks ago, but
Probably a micro
yeah,
leak somewhere. You're not gonna find it.
no. We just were checking it. It was busy work. We were kind of slow, and they said, "Oh, why don't you just check all the units at the shop?" And I
Oh,
think
okay,
this one needed a pound of R22. But
that's
kind
very
of
very
curious
small.
see how long it runs.
I know. I the other day I did there's a service station that has a sub shop in it. I do their refrigeration stuff for them, but the gas station had their condensing unit. Their fan motor went on it, and he said he's trying to call guys to come and fix it. He says no, I've been 2 weeks with a broken air conditioner, and he asked the guy from the sub shop, the manager. He said, hey, and then they called me up, and then I was like, I'll do it if I have the parts. If I have to buy parts, I'm not gonna do it. So actually, by chance, I had the condenser fan motor brand new in a box. I never used it, and I went and installed it. I got a couple of dollars off of it, but it was when I used to work for the other place. All those spare parts that I didn't use, they would give them to me. And they would give it to me, and I was like, what I'm gonna do with this? Make soup out of it or something? So what I would do is that I would just just put it home, and when they had the car, I checked out, it was the same spec of the same motor, whatever. And I went, and I got it. Got a couple of them, put it on, worked. So got the money for it. So life goes on.
Hey, it's all good. How I'll ask you guys and I'll ask people in the chat. How do you guys feel about the new refrigerants coming out, the A2L stuff? What are your guys' opinions? Is it meh or is it not a big deal? Are you worried about it? I'd love to know other technicians' opinions on it.
Is
Just
this R22 replacements or
no, no, no.
No,
So
they have new. What happens
You're
is
talking about the
the next year.
410 replacement.
Yeah,
410A
next year they're
replacements
gonna.
or
Yes, next year because of energy requirements and all that other good
yeah,
stuff.
so it's
They
it's gonna
have to
be
change. Yeah.
yeah, R454B will be one of them, and then R32 will be the other one. So, like, when we went from 22 to 410, all manufacturers had to go to 410. Now they can pick what they want. So, I know some, like Carrier, and some of them are using R454B. I know the Daikin group is using R32, which
The
R.
odd part is of the R32 that they've been using it like in Asia and Europe for like 15 years plus. So
Well, and they're.
they have a what I say there when you look at their climates and when you're in North America, and I'm where it's hot all the time, so tropics. You know, I think that the way that's gonna behave is that it's gonna be varied by market. Maybe one market that uses maybe a lot of heat pump, they'll use one refrigerant. If they have straight cool, they'll use another one. That's how I think it's how it's going to shift.
Well, I think each in particular manufacturer is going to stick to one. I don't
Yeah.
think one manufacturer is going to go back. It's just to me, it sucks because it's just, what are we going to carry fucking tractor trailers around, with carrying all the refrigerant? That's why I didn't get into the hype of the R22 drop in. Speaking of Blue On, I think Blue On makes a good one. I think there's some good ones out there, but there's no laws or code on how it has to be labeled of what's in there, and you can't mix them. So every Tom, Dick, and Harry is buying a different jug. They're charging this shit up. They're mixing it, or they're doing it right, but they're not putting what's in there. You go back to service a customer, it's like, I don't know what the fuck's in here. So that's why we've just always used R22. And
You see that a lot in my case in refrigeration. You see that a lot when you tell them R22 is $2,000 a jug, and I got to use 10 pounds of it. An example, and they said, "Oh, I could get a drop in. It's a quarter the price of that." Now they're more expensive now because everything's going up, but it'll cost maybe half the price of it for now. Just saying, I don't know the current prices.
yeah,
I don't use a lot of R22 anymore or the substitutes. Most of the
yeah,
equipment's most of the equipment's
Yeah,
coming in propane or 404A, So 448 is being phased out. So I'm using 448 and whatever comes down the road.
So
So
real fast, we have somebody in the comments. Eric Goldhammer says, "I worry about it. There have been some issues with refrigerators running on R600 butane exploding. I'm afraid of something similar happening."
it's
And
with the charge caps because
Yeah.
that's why they when they introduce the refrigerants, if you look into it, you can. This is all publicly available information. They put charge caps. Example with R290, which is propane. They have a charge cap at 5 ounces per system. No system. If there's more than 5 ounces that you have to use, you got to put a separate condensing unit with a second circuit. So what they're doing is that there's not there. Yes, it's flammable. Yes, it can cause explosion, but it won't be enough that if you had an ignition, you can have a substantial explosion. You do have the risk of a fire or explosion.
well, let's just think about it. There's already risk in what we do, and the
Yeah.
only thing that gets me is I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the refrigerants. I mean, yes, I think like some. I heard from some people that I thought that you were gonna have to take another thing to add to your EPA license. Some people have told me that that's not the case. You're not going to. Um, you
You could
know,
take a training. You could take supplement. They do these. They how you say these schools or agencies that do give the APE tests. They do give you a supplemental training that you can take for hydrocarbons and for these A2L. I would if I was a person that's all like working with it every day. Go ahead, do make the extra investment and learn about it. So it's better to be prepared than be sorry. So you know when it does actually come in full blast, you could be you'll be more confident to work on.
yeah, and as far as like tools and stuff, that most of the new vacuum pumps that are out are all A2L certified. Like I know, like obviously Yellow Jacket's one of my sponsors. All the new Yellow Jacket stuff is all A2L certified. I will be honest though, I don't know what that means by that. Apparently, it's something to do with some of the stuff that can get caught in the
The
oil.
way the construction of the pumps and the motors, they're more explosion proof. They're more sealed, like brushless type.
Well, exactly. So that's what I mean. Most of the new vacuum pumps are brushless. So that's why I'm
So you wouldn't
saying.
have a problem. You wouldn't have a problem
Yeah,
using
so
it.
I think most of the new stuff is that you're going to be fine. But if it's something, guys and girls that watch this, if it's something that scares you or something you're unsure about, educate yourself. Take one of the classes, look in your local area. Like, as things are changing, I've always wanted to be ahead of the curve in the beginning. I don't want to wait till the end, in the ass end of it, and I'm playing catch up. It's, I don't know. I've just never been that kind of person. I don't think that any of you should either, especially with our industry. Things are changing. They're worried about, the ozone. They're going to keep changing things. And to be honest, R54B and R32 are not the answer. These are just going to go for a little bit until they figure something else out because
When you see and look when you look at let's say larger industrial applications, you're using CO2. The petrochemical industry has been using propane for God knows how long, years, and they've actually perfected. Yes, it's natural. Yes, it could be dangerous, but you see that they're now it's being the methods of how to use it, how to handle it. It's getting not perfect, but it's getting more safer to learn how to be working with all this new stuff.
yeah, it's one of those things that you got to kind of see where it goes and roll with the punches because they're going to keep trying to get the global rating or whatever it is up of the refrigerant. And some of the best refrigerants, sadly, some of those
Up
are
to
are
toxic.
flammable. Yeah, it's you know what I mean? So it's trying to find those and they're all blends. That's one thing I miss about, 12 and R22 is that it was a pure refrigerant.
Straight.
Uh,
It was pure straight.
yeah, so you could charge as a
Yeah.
vapor, charge it as a liquid if you needed to. Um, now if you they're so just so you know, R32 is in 410. That's one of the refrigerants that makes up 410. So we've already been using some R32.
And if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and you look at the window shakers, they're all R32, and they've been like
Really?
that they've been like that for the last 2 3 years. So it's very odd to see it because it's not very common, but you can see how they're trying to shift, what they're shifting to now. Now you go And if you see the little flame on the box with the triangle, the yellow triangle with the flame, you know it's R32.
Oh, they're actually okay.
So if
So
they have to have the
R32 is a pure refrigerant. It's a single component.
yes, it's a
Yeah,
certain component,
yeah.
correct?
That was my fault.
But it's like having the eight, like it has the A2L classification, but it's slightly flammable under certain conditions. But they have by law for safety law, they have to have it labeled like it's flammable. So you'll see that actually a little yellow triangle with the flame, and it'll say R32 on it. Same thing if you have R290 equipment, which is propane, you'll have the little, it'll say a sticker, flammable refrigerant used, and it'll have the yellow triangle, and it'll say R290 on it. Same thing with the compressors. The compressors have the little triangle, and it'll say R290, or if it's R600, it'll say I have the triangle R600. So
Yeah, just
it's
so you see
all,
this, not to interrupt you, Jason Johnson put it up there.
yep,
So 410 is 50% R32, 50% R25,
right,
125.
125.
I'm sorry.
And the odd part in all those blend,
Oh wow.
if you look at the compositions in all the newer blends that they're using, example for 448A, which is for 44A, it has R32 in it, percentage, and the other drop-ins that you had for R22, they would put a little bit of isobutane and butane for oil return reasons, so you would have to do an oil change. But in some, if the systems were designed correctly when you're running R22, you shouldn't run into any hiccups. When the systems are not designed, is that when you have problems with oil return and piping and stuff like that. That's where you hear that. That's where you get all these rumors that I put that drop in and it messed up the compressor. I put that drop in and it messed up because you had something in that system wasn't designed correctly from the beginning. And when you're doing these changes, like it's sensitive to changes, you find out that well, I had this problem, I had that problem.
Well, it's funny you say that. That's why I'm not even really a big fan of R11 flush because, you know,
That's alcohol with ether with God knows
well,
what.
it's
What
a
else is it?
it's a solvent, and
Solvent, yeah,
you know,
alcohol.
and if it's used correctly, it's fine. But if a little bit that stays in there, that's going to be way worse for the system
And
than a
if
little
you're
bit of the
not,
old
That's
oil left
true.
behind.
Especially
you know,
with our like, I
I've heard
understand it.
stories. I've
With the
heard
flush.
stories that with the flush, people try to go torch something out of it and it blows up on them because
Yeah,
that's alcohol. That's alcohol, and that doesn't evaporate. And okay, clean, but you have other countries. Because I see groups from other countries. They still use but it's not illegal. It's illegal in the U.S. and its territories to use refrigerant to flush out. They use a certain refrigerant to still flush out. When they do flush out on burnouts, they use a R141B. It uses a
410
salt.
actually flushes pretty well.
I mean, I had nitrogen. I've done nitrogen. I've done all of them.
Well, hey, that's
And
that's that's like the homemade recovery machine. You know,
yeah,
it's a bucket of water.
the bucket. Hey,
I'm
everybody's
not
done.
saying I condone it. I'm just saying it was the
No, no,
original vacuum pump.
everybody's no, everybody has done
Bucket
it.
never
Yeah,
fails
hey,
sometimes.
Yeah.
I've done the flush and go thing too. Everybody's done that at
In a
least
pinch.
once in their lives.
Yeah.
But you look back at it. Hey, look, I could probably run into a problem down the road or whatever. But like you're saying, you have to find what's most efficient, what will work for you.
D-
Because
I-
what will work for you won't work for me or work for the other person or the other person. So you have to
yeah.
look what you have to go looking specifically what works for you and keep doing what works for you. Now,
Have you ever heard of this one? Eric Goldhammer again. He's been putting some good. Him and Jason and a couple of guys been putting some good stuff in here. He said I've heard of people using brake cleaner to flush out the system.
okay,
I've never heard that. Be honestly.
I've
okay,
never heard that.
okay, supermarket refrigeration. Because I've done supermarkets.
I
When
have too,
you
but it's been years ago.
okay, but what we would do like when the TX valves would get stuck with the gunk, I would just gut them out, clean them with brake cleaner, throw it back together,
Mhm.
flush her out, and keep on going. And never had a problem with it. Knock on wood, but never
Okay,
had
so
a problem.
but what was the purpose of using the brake cleaner? Like, what was the
It
advantage of it?
dissolves. Okay, but in some brake cleaners, I'm gonna go with brand names. I don't think I should, but some brand name brake cleaners they're non-bleach. Some are bleach, non-bleach, and the type of solvent that it uses. If something has a lot of grease, oil, it'll clean it out dry. It leaves the pipe really dry. So if you take, let's say, a quarter-inch pipe that was full of oil, and you spray some of that stuff through it, you're gonna when the solvent dries up and when you flush it, you're gonna see it really dry. So it's good. Like if you have to remove oil or something, that's why I think they would use that stuff.
It's funny you say that because I said that I'd never heard that, but as you guys were talking about it, I do remember hearing somebody doing that, blowing through a cap tube system. They were trying to clean
Yep.
out the cap tube, and it was literally open, and they took brake cleaner and blew it out. So it's funny that I didn't think I remembered that. It just popped up. Another thing I'm glad that Jason brought up is this is also a big deal when it comes to the refrigerants, and he's 100% right. Here, I'll put it on the screen so it's easier for you guys to see. R22 systems were longer lasting due to the mineral oil, which isn't very hydroscopic.
Yep.
POE oil is very hydroscopic.
He's right because you would actually when they mineral oil tends to tolerate more water. It's not a hydroscopic like you said. The problem with POE, it's a
Yeah.
sponge.
Yep.
PVE, which is the other one, or PVA, it depends the way the manufacturer says it. It is hydroscopic, but less. It's it's synthetic oil, and the other one's mineral. But the PVE, the advantage of it was like, let's just say you have the can open, it gives you a little bit more time to have it open, use it, and seal it. So with the POE, you have the problem that it sucks moisture. That when you would try to fix the system, when you pull the oil out, it looked yellow,
Yeah.
and that's moisture. That's what that does to POE. And then what happens? It forms certain acids burn out on the coil of the windings of compressors or whatever it touches.
Well, think
Or
about some of the old systems, the old R22 systems that we used to do, like the triple evac, or you'd have like the burnout situation where you put a suction filter dryer on. And I was always taught to let it run for a little bit, come back and take it out,
Correct.
like not to leave it
Yeah.
in. But and those you would do that, and those systems they'd run like champs after that. A 410 system isn't going to.
You can't do that.
No way.
Just like that. Like,
It's
let's
not
say
going to
I've
take
been
it
doing this for 10 years. My first year in, we did that.
on a R22.
Because
Yeah, on that 22.
Yeah, it
the
used to happen
suction
all the
you could
time.
use, they would just tell you, just change the dryers out and just put a vacuum on it and you're good to go. It's true because of the moisture issue. But they always say compressors will get murdered and they don't die.
I say it.
But I've heard it from many people, and it's true. It's some condition that the thing was operating in that made it go. Like try to find it, pinpoint it. That's where a view when you say when a person says, "Oh, I can troubleshoot," but you gotta look at every single angle.
Well, that's in the residential thing is what happens is normally a compressor, unless it's like DOA or like under warranty or something, normally it'll last 10 years and you replace the compressor, you get them back up and running, and they're probably going to replace that system before it happens again.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
when you get into a commercial industrial application, that system being down, it cannot be down,
No.
so you need to
No,
figure
not at all.
out what the fuck is going on, what caused it. Something caused that compressor to fail. They don't die. Like every one of you, how many engines have you put in your car?
that's true.
You know what I mean? It's the compressor is made. It's made to operate. It's made to run. It's not made to fail. So if it fails, something murdered
There's
it,
something
and
in there.
Yeah, you need to figure out what caused it.
I've
that's
seen
why-
those old, the Carlisle, the green ones, the big ass 06.
Yeah.
I saw one bust on the crankcase on the bottom, broke into four
Yeah.
pieces. So when I went up on the roof and I open up the compressor, the compartment, and see the thing in four pieces, I said something happened mechanically with that compressor, X or Y thing, because to have that broken, I said I wanted to take it apart, but they took it away, but it probably had a broken shaft or a broken piston or something in there. Maybe some bad flood back or something killed it. Who knows? But it was murdered. It wasn't like it doesn't die.
Yeah, well, that's like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Sadly, there's too many technicians out there running that really they shouldn't be called technicians, and I'm not going to put it on them because somebody put them in a van. Somebody didn't train them properly. Somebody doesn't care enough,
Yep.
But there's so many guys out there that don't even charge units right. You know what I mean? Especially now that you have to charge as a liquid. Like you don't sit there and just, you know what I mean? You know, you're sitting there flooding that fucking thing. Like when I tell people, when you put in a pound of refrigerant, that should be a process. You know what I mean? It should take a little while to put that in.
100%.
No, then you gotta check. Then you have to check temperatures, and sometimes I've seen sometimes a label on a, let's just say a label on a condenser unit, it'll say X amount, and sometimes I have it working with less than that amount that it says on the label, because you have like line set, you have a shorter line set, or you have certain factors that it'll make that it could work with less. So here, I usually don't do as much work like that. But when I was working with the other company, that they would fix anything that they would find, I got into the habit, of doing everything by a step. Because if you don't do it by step by step, you're gonna end up messing something up, or something ain't gonna work right, and you're
Yeah.
gonna or get a call back, which is worse.
Well, see, that's one thing I do miss about the.
Callbacks.
Yeah.
No, that sucks.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's some things that's what I do miss about some of the commercial industrial stuff. Like some of the industrial stuff you work on, it's one of one. There is no fucking manual. This thing was built custom to fit a certain application.
custom made, yeah.
Yeah, you learn from the guy that worked on it before you, and guess what? You're going to be the guy that teaches the guy after you. But I remember doing the supermarket, like the rack refrigeration, and you had a bad like if you had to go out, like I remember 2 o'clock in the morning. I live in Maryland. We have like all the Costco's.
Oil failure, yeah, it was
Yep,
racked down.
they call 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, "Hey, we got a compressor down." It's not. I'll see you at 8. It's like I'm getting my fucking happy ass up, and I'm driving to fucking Virginia. And if it's a compressor, there was always a rebuilt one already there. So I'm putting the fucking chain fall on, and guess what? After I change the compressor, then I can go home and get sleep. But then I'm coming back and I'm gonna rebuild the compressor that I just took out, because that's gonna be the spare in case this happens again. Like I do miss that, because I love that mechanical side of it, being able to do that. So I do miss that, but I don't miss getting calls 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
See, like me, I
like-
wish I could
like-
dabble in that. Around here, I
It's-
can't.
You
Like,
know,
around
it's
here where I live, we don't dabble in refrigeration or.
it's interesting because
Yeah.
most of the basic stuff that if whoever went to schools, I went to school, and some people that don't go to school, that they just learn the basics. It's just expanding the basics. And if you don't know anything, I always tell everybody, pick up a book and read. And most of the things that I know is because I've read it, and you apply it, and you look, like we say, we look at 4 sides of the square. And when you start looking, when you start asking, when you start poking around, that's when you're gonna find out. That's when you're gonna learn. Go like there's I know maybe some of you guys are familiar. Trevor, he's a refrigeration mentor.
Oh yeah, Trevor's the man.
He that guy, he had a supermarket. He had a supermarket conference for 5 Wednesdays. I went to 4 of the 5, and he actually brought the guy from Sportland, one of the engineers. And you're like, these are guys that know what they're doing, know what they're talking, and they would explain everything in like layman terms. And you took a ton of knowledge, and people that do things like that, that's what you have to look for. Learn, keep learning, keep doing it, keep evolving.
Yeah.
Because the wheel's still gonna go round and round, and you got to keep up with it.
Yeah.
You can't stop.
It's funny, man. I wish you'd come on, Jason, man. We think alike, man. Jason Johnson. He says really, he's right. What we do is heat transfer. That's it. Like that's how they say there's no such thing as darkness. It's absence of light. There's no such thing as cool. It's absence of heat.
Of heat.
You know what I mean? So people are like, we don't cool anything. We remove heat. That's why refrigerant is they're doing what they're doing, because it's which one of these refrigerants can absorb the most heat, and then dissipate the most, and do it in the safest manner possible, as far as, it's not going to affect how it's operating. It's not going to corrode the metals. It's not going to corrode the compress, things like that. So this is all those things, and I don't design refrigerants, and I don't want to act smarter than I am. But You know what I mean? All those things kind of go into effect. That's what I said when I go back to what I said earlier. I think that if you really nail yourself down in 5 years and you really, really want to learn this industry, that you can be a damn good fucking technician in 5 years if you really put in the time and study. I'm gonna see if I can turn this thing on. It's NDI. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna show you. I have one of these books that is it's fucking old, and I've read this book from fucking cover to cover. Where the fuck is that
See,
at,
like
man?
me, I love learning, dude. I will read anything you give me. Like,
I
100%.
know that if you search like on Google, there's a they have sometimes you can find older versions of these books, digitalized. Somebody sat down and scanned page by page and put it in a big digital file so you could read it. And I've gotten a couple of I've found a couple of those books, and actually, I still have the books I went to school with, and all the manuals and all the workbooks. I still have them, and
So,
they're
like, the
I don't know.
difference, like how I told you guys before, like, I never went to school. I just opened a newspaper.
But if you can read, you'll be better than somebody that goes to school. I guarantee you that. And if you want to learn, hey, the sky's the limit. Because I know people that would like. I know people that would like to learn, and I said, look, if you want to read, sky's the limit. You just got to put your. If you like what you do, you just do it. You do it with all the, you do it with your heart. You do it with your passion, and
Like,
that's
there's
your
not
sky's the limit.
for me. My goal, like, there's nothing like seeing a person that once you leave their house, they're happy,
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you got something running. You got
or
something
whatever you're
fixed.
doing. Like, when was it yesterday? Somebody just I got to their house. It was just f bombs after f bombs after f bombs. I was there for 2.5 hours. Fixed both of their units. They were just like, "God bless you," and they were calm.
And that's the best part about it, man. That's why I say, like, I used to always have that mentality that I was always trying to keep the bill as low as possible. You know, I feel like I've said these stories a million times, but fuck it, it's so true. But you go up to, especially a residential call, you go up to the customer, and they walk outside as you pull up, and they're going, "Oh, the problem's outside. The problem's outside." You go outside. Oh, capacitor's bad. You change the capacitor. You hand them a bill. You leave. You never even fucking went inside. You know what I mean? Then the customer
Yeah.
calls. You think you did the right thing because you kept their bill as cheap as possible. 2 days later, the customer calls and says, "Oh, I got water leaking in the basement, and your technician was just out here." Who's right? Who's wrong? You know what I mean? Like, I'm in control. My technicians, when they go to a call, they're the fucking expert. So when that customer comes out and says, "Oh, the problem's out here," oh, that's
I
cool,
have to check
sir.
inside.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and start inside, and then I'll work my way outside. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go in and see everything that I see inside, everything that I know that is not 100% correct. So we always put it's either like a safety hazard, it's not the way the manufacturer recommended it, or it's going to be a problem soon. I'm going to list every single fucking thing. You need to be honest and ethical. Don't bullshit people. But half these people doing maintenance, their maintenance is bullshit. They walk in, they take a temperature split, they're there for 20 minutes, and, oh,
Swap a
everything looks
filter.
good. You
Swap
know?
a filter. Go
Yeah.
past the little rag on
Yeah,
the on the
so when
on
my
the
guys
register
go in and they
grills,
do
and
a real fucking maintenance and they blow them out of the water, these people are like, nobody's
Or
ever
or you
done
get
that
or you
before.
get people that don't know how to read a meter.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many people work at my company that don't know how to read a meter?
that's sad, but it's true.
I had a guy one time, he was actually running fucking ductless system calls. And I said, "Oh, well, you know that's DC voltage, right?" He was like, "What?" I was like, it's DC voltage?" And he was like, "What's DC voltage?" I was like,
Really?
I was waiting for the ha 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 LOL, and I never got it. And I was like,
It's like power that runs off batteries,
yeah, I was
or
like, "What the fuck you been doing then, bro?" I'm like, they're all inverter systems, almost everyone out now.
everything's DC. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pulse
Every
signals,
one right now, I think is all DC. Then you have to read
What they
diode. You still
what
have to
they
do
have
this
is
and that.
what
Most people
Yeah.
don't
because
know
we
how to
use a
read
lot
a
of mini
diode.
split.
Hold on.
We have a lot of mini splits here. So
Hold on, Alex. I feel like every time a man talks, you guys are both talking. Let Ryan talk, my man. Sorry.
yeah, so go ahead.
That's it's fine. I'm just saying, like, most people don't know how to read diodes or use a multimeter. Don't even know what an ohm is or anything like that. And it's just like, and they're like in my company, they're service techs, like service techs. I'm an installer, but I do service also, and they don't know how to read that and do ductless and do normal units. All you can use is your meter.
Yeah, well, that's why I think that I didn't start out this way. Like I said, this wasn't my path. I kind of wish it was sometimes, but it is what it is. But I think when you start out as an installer and you learn how things operate, how it's supposed to be installed, and you think about the service guys, like, hey, I need to move this because a service guy is going to have to come. Or, hey, maybe this shouldn't be sitting in the sun the way it's sitting. Maybe I should rotate this, or hey, maybe I should talk to the customer. We should move this outdoor unit, up 5 feet or something. When you think outside the fucking box, when you can do that and then you become a service tech, when you understand the sequence of operations and how things work, that's what makes you a good service tech. And then you're going to learn as you go. But when you go home and you start learning some of that theory, reading books and different things like that, and then you put it into,
Theory or
yeah,
like
exactly. When you're actually at work, you have that aha moment and it all starts to click. So one book I don't know if Sam's still in here. Sam actually won the giveaway, but the AC Service Tech book. I think for everything it's like $100. I'm telling you, invest in yourself. His AC service. He has a book and then a workbook and then these little cards. Fuck, my book bag's not down here, but if you get through that book, it'll make you a better technician. Unless you're like a veteran and you know your shit, then maybe you don't need it. Unless you have to teach to somebody else. But that book and then the workbook, you can test yourself, to see if you're actually learning. And then the cards are like little cheat sheets. It gives you all those little information. Yep, Sam's here.
what is it called, so I can write it down just in case. Like,
So it pretty much, if you go to acservicetech.com, and you look on his shop and you'll see it's a book, a workbook, and then the cards. I want to say he's got a special. It's like $100. I'm telling you, it's worth $100. I might even buy another one and give it away because I think it's that valuable. I wish I could. It's upstairs. My one book bag's upstairs, or I'd fucking show it to you. I thought it was down here, but it's not. But all right, I'm gonna give some stuff away here. So I'm gonna give away one more thing, but I'm gonna let you guys choose what you want. You can either win the shit. Let me switch cameras. Damn it, I'm fucking smacking microphones. The inspection camera. So this is one you put your phone on there. It turns it into an inspection camera with an app. It's pretty neat. So you can't beat it. I know you can use this for heating season coming up for furnaces, depending on where you are. And then I also have one of the Klein HVAC clamp meters. This is actually, I'm not gonna lie, because normally it's like, Fluke, Field Piece, UEI.
those clients actually work really good, though.
Yeah, this is actually a badass meter. I have one over here that I've been using. I've actually been putting it here. I'll show you guys. I've been testing it.
When I first started, I bought one of those, and I think I broke the amp clamp off of it.
Yeah, I've been testing it with. So this is the meter that you would win. It's the same thing that's in that box. I guess showing you the cover doesn't really help any. It's this meter. And I've been using this with the going back and forth because my favorite meter as of right now is this. Would be the Field Piece SC680. So not giving that away. That's mine. You can go fuck
I
yourself.
got the smaller version of that. Which one's that? This.
There's a couple. I have the smaller one too.
It's not as big as the smaller one.
Yeah, so there's the 640 or 480 or something like that. But I love that one, especially if I'm doing teaching or if I go out, because I can do everything I need to do in like microamps, DC amperage, like all that kind of stuff when I really need to dig into something. Because normally if I go out to a call, unless I'm just doing my ride-alongs with the technicians, I'm out there for a tech support. I'm out there because there's an issue, and I like being able to have the range to do whatever I got to do. So,
The funny thing, let's say like I'm an installer guy, right? But yeah, because I like what I do, so I read a lot and study a lot. They call me to do help service people work on other things, like when they need backup. So
that's cool. That's good. I mean, do you eventually want to get into service, or do you like installing?
installing is cool and doing swap outs, change outs, like that's cool. But service for me right now is like trying to be on call. I don't. That's the only thing I'm not. I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, hey, and people feel like there has to be the evolution to be good in HVAC. Like there has to be the evolution from, like if you do installs, like you're not as good as service techs. No, it's fuck that, dude. I know some guys that could be badass service techs and they choose to be installers because they like doing that. That's just who they are. Especially our service guys, the way they get paid is our installs are they're all bid for 8 hours. So if these guys go out and get the job done in 4 hours and there's no callbacks, the job's done to our standards, they still get paid for 8. So these guys
Like
love
let's
it.
say like our change outs, let's say it's 2 guys, whatever it is, you get 8 hours, and usually we're done by noon. But if we're done by noon, they just send us somewhere else, and they make the profit out of the rest of.
Yeah, it does, Sam. Just so you guys know, the Klein meter, true RMS measurement technology, voltage 750 volts AC and 600 volts DC. Current 600 amps AC, resistance 60 mega ohms, DC microamps, inrush current, non-contact voltage testing, temperature, audible continuity, and then it's the same thing in Spanish. Technological de medi. Wait, well, I'm not reading that. But yeah, this is a pretty badass little meter, man. So I got another wheeze I got to send out to I forget his name, but he was on the podcast a while back. I had 3 of these. I gave 2 of them away. I had 1 left, and then I used it and I fucking broke it, and it was supposed to be for somebody else. But I forgot his address. I got to get him to. So I got 3 of these now. 1 of them is taken. I got 2 left. I'm using 1, and then I got 1 to give away. Well, I'm not using it. I'm just fucking around with it, but I'll give it away at some point. All right, guys, I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to make this easy. The first person to answer, and I'm even going to give you a little bit of leeway. When did I do, in what year did I start podcasting? And this could be 2 different years. I'll take both answers because you could technically, you could justify your answer either way. So there's 2 of them. In what year did I start podcasting? The first person to answer, I'll let you pick the meter. All right, so technically, so the first one that's even remotely close is going to be RJ Parker. So the answer would have been 2017, 2018. So HVAC Uncensored started in 2018, but technically I started podcasting with somebody else before that in 2017. So RJ Parker, you won, my man. So let me know if you want the meter or if you want the camera. Anybody who won here stuff tonight. So earlier, Sam, I already have your information. Sam's fucking tearing up my giveaways, man. I gotta start making sure Sam doesn't come back in. He's taking all your guys' prizes. Tech 5 said, damn, that was my second guess. Oh, he wants the camera. All right. All right. You know what? Fuck it out. So he wants the camera. All right. RJ, email me, hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Send me your real name, your address, and a phone number, because sometimes now when you ship, they want a phone number on it. So I'm not going to use it. Trust me. I won't be calling you for any dumb shit. But all right. So let me put a sticker. Hold on. Let me write on this. This is RJ's. And do me a favor, when you message me, say, put in there what you want. I'm writing down on it because I'll forget. So, all right. Let me think of a question. I'm going to answer this, this meter too. Let's see something we could do to give this meter away. Trying to think of a question. Huh. No, it's just Sam said, "Hey, the first one was a random drawing." He's right. It was a random drawing. I'll do this to make it random, so it's not a question. After this video ends, okay? After this video ends, HVACR ice cream guy says, "Just give it to me." He's been asking for this meter for a little bit. And then people are putting random things. Make it easy. Blue. So here, I'll do this to make it random. The only thing I'm going to say is if you've already won something, you can't win again. Only for this, for this show. Just to try to make it fair for everybody. So what I'll do is I'll let this, after this, we end this. I want you to comment, let's say, comment.
Where I'm from.
Yeah, there you go. Comment where he's from. So go back and listen, because he says it. I ask him as soon as he pops on, where's he's from. I want you to comment that, and then I will pick a random one, and then the winner of that, I'll send you that meter out, because I gotta go ship all this stuff out anyway, because I live. There you go, Casey.
Yeah, there we go.
He says Gil has 5 kids. All right, now you guys are getting a little too into my business. I wasn't asking those kind of questions. But Gil's got a 7 1/4 penis size. Only when the fucking barometric pressure is perfect. Actually, I have 4 kids, not 5. Casey. If I got a 5th, I don't know who the fuck the 5th one is. Yeah, Hampton, New York. So actually, I'll just do this. I won't make it something you have to answer. Pretty much, I want you to comment New York. You comment New York, and so that way it makes it easier for me. Because if everybody writes something different, it's going to make it harder to do. So don't don't put it in the chat, okay? Matter of fact, I'm going to get ready to end this in a second. It's almost midnight. Once I end it and it's actual comments and not the chat, that's when you have to do it. Because if you do it in the chat, it's not going to count, okay? I just want to make sure you know that. And then matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll go live tomorrow, and you guys don't have to be live to win or nothing like that. And I'll do the drawing live online and pick a winner. I won't let it go forever, because I want you guys that were here live to be able to win. But that way you guys can enter too. You know what I mean? I don't want you guys to not be able to win because you decide to come on. Well, why don't we go ahead and end this, man? It's been so I'm gonna start doing these hangouts. I won't do one next week because I'm going away on vacation. I'm going to my beach house. I need to get. I say that like I'm some like special dude. I'm not, but
Dude, don't worry. Next weekend I'm getting away also. I'm going up to the mountains.
Yeah, I need a little vacation with the family, man. We have some bigger trips later in the year, but I've been traveling for my oldest son for baseball. I'm fortunate that my oldest son is a Division I prospect for baseball and football. And we've been.
What is he going with? Baseball or football?
I think he's going to go with baseball. Yeah, I think it's because he's a quarterback, but I think, and he pitches and he does some other things, but I think injury-wise, baseball is probably better, and plus baseball is guaranteed money, and he's got he's got a lot bigger colleges, looking at him for when it comes to baseball. So he He hit 93 this summer. So
Really?
oh yeah, my son's I'll just my son's a big boy, man. He's probably like 6'2", 6'3", 200 pounds. Like we joke about fighting, but I ain't gonna let him know he could probably fuck me up. But I'm just
Nah, Papa Duke still got it.
yeah.
dude.
I grew up in the streets, motherfucker. Come on, bitch, you soft. But yeah, he's a good athlete. He's strong as an ox, and he's got some. So we've been going to these like huge tournaments. Like every weekend, we were gone. We were somewhere
Really?
else. Yeah, at all these big tournaments, and these coaches are like. So we have a lot of Christ, let's see.
Dude, I'm telling you, like for injury wise, go to baseball. Like,
Well, plus and for
no,
football.
if he has a better pitch, if he has a good pitch,
Well, he's a good quarterback though too, man. Like he's a big boy. He stands in there and he fires that fucking rock, dude. It's just his high school football team. Like the coach is a fucking moron. And,
dude,
you know,
I played football in high school, right? And my coach made me pretty much not play anymore. In high school, I was like, I'm 6'1". When I was in high school, I was 6'1". I was a lineman, 280, just straight up go. And racial area around here, so like he made me like leave.
yeah.
Give
I,
up.
I was I was a good athlete, man. I played football, baseball, and basketball. Basketball was actually my best sport until I broke my ankle and I was white again. I couldn't dunk. I used to literally in the AAU teams they used to have around here. I was the only white guy on the team.
Dude, what? I was really good at defense lacrosse.
My buddies played lacrosse. I played like in a drunk league after high school, but only because I was playing with my buddies. They were good. My one buddy's actually he's a beast at lacrosse. A couple of them played for Limestone. They were the D3 national champs back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. But and my wife was a fucking could have played women's lacrosse at University of Maryland. She just didn't go. Not because for any reason, she just didn't want to. She's like, I don't want to go to school anymore.
Really?
Tech 5 says, all right, guys, I have a meter to win.
No, we just went into sports. Like, if you want to talk
Yeah.
sports, I got you. What do you want to talk? Football,
Yeah,
soccer?
it's funny. Yeah,
Hockey.
so my nephew pitches for the Naval Academy right now.
Really?
Yeah, so we have some athletic blood in our family, and
All right.
I was a fucking idiot.
He's trying to win that meter. We're just gonna drag this along.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna keep going, and I got a
we
big
don't want to
mouth.
talk about sports. We'll be here for like another 2 hours.
Yeah, I got a big mouth. Football season's coming. We'll have some of these hangouts. We can
All
talk
right.
about sports.
Talking about football season. What's your team?
I'm a Ravens. I got season tickets to the Ravens, man. That's my team.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think I like? Who's my team?
So I would say Jets or Giants. So it's like stepbrother. They sleep in the same fucking house. Oh, neither one.
Nope. See, like the yellow jacket sign right there. The yellow and black.
That's yellow and blue. You motherfucker, you're a Steelers fan.
No, there's no. I got right next to it.
Champions.
Yeah.
Rams?
Who?
Rams.
Steelers.
Steelers?
Oh, that's what I said. Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I said yeah, because right next to that, the yellow jacket thing is it looks like black, but it's blue. Steelers. That's hey. I respect the Steelers, though. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, they're in our division. I don't like them, but I respect them because it's another blue-collar city. And the reason that the rivalry is what it is because both the teams have been good. If both of them sucked,
Dude.
you know what I mean?
We've had some good teams a couple of past years, man. Like, honestly.
You ask some of these old players, and they're like, if you have any question about what the best rivalry in football is, go on the sidelines for a Ravens Steelers game. Do it in Baltimore. Do it in Pittsburgh. It don't matter.
Have you seen the Steelers Ravens game?
Dude, my family's had season tickets since they've been a team. I've been to every Steelers game. Trust me. I can't tell you how many
Pittsburgh,
fights.
dude, it's crazy in Pittsburgh. Because my cousin's husband has season tickets too, so
Yeah, I'll actually be there Thursday for the first preseason game against the Titans. Hey,
I can't.
any of you guys? I don't know why I'm still on this camera. Any of you guys ever come to Baltimore? You want to go to a Ravens game, dude? Let me know. But between my tickets and then Ryan, the actual owner of my company, he's got club seats. We're actually gonna sit in his seats for next week. I'm gonna give my tickets away. But yeah, you ever want to come, dude?
Man,
I'll
you
make it
let me know.
happen.
I'll drive down there right now.
Hey, yeah, you ain't that far away.
One of my coworkers, die Ravens fan.
Good man. Or woman. You said coworker, so I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but good person.
My dude.
Oh, okay.
Homie.
Okay. Good dude then. Good dude. Yeah, if I take you if I take you in my basement this way, even though I'm living in a rental house right now, so this is still all temporary. But if you go in my basement, it's set up, dude. I have Ravens, Orioles shit. I got like Lamar Jackson's fucking like signed jerseys and shit. I'll send pictures of my jersey. I mean, my basement's pretty tough. That's my man cave. And then this is my getaway, my lair.
That's sick, man. All right, so you gotta cut it out so these guys can win something.
Yes. All right, guys, we're gonna go now. Thank you all you guys for watching this, man. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. I have a different series of videos that are gonna come out. So a lot of you guys know that I'm not in the field anymore. I've worked my way up. I'm the COO of an HVAC company, but I'm gonna make some videos talking about different topics, and I also have something worked out to where I'm gonna be able to do some technical videos in conjunction with another company. So stay tuned. You'll see that, so I can try to put some of the content out besides the podcast. The Hangouts, I'm gonna try to do at least every other week. Obviously, like I said, I'm getting ready to go on vacation, so I probably won't do another one for another couple of weeks. But I will announce the giveaway winner tomorrow. I'll go live, or it'll be a pre-recorded video, but you'll be able to see the process of who won, so there's no fucking bullshit involved. Other than that, man, stay subscribed. Thank you all for coming out here on your Saturday night. I appreciate you. I'm here every Wednesday night live for a podcast. If there's a certain topic that you guys would like covered, a certain guest that you want, let me know. If one of you thinks that you could come on the actual podcast and you have something to talk about, by all means. I like the podcast with just regular people. It doesn't have to be some influencer or someone from a company. I like talking to everyday blue collar workers, and I like to hear your story, Jim Palmer. I wish, Sam. I wish.
Just get out, boys.
So, but thank you guys for coming on, man. It was awesome to fucking meet you, Ryan. Appreciate you coming on. Good to see you again,
man.
fucking Alex.
Alex, thank you to meet you too.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and end this, man. Stay tuned. Remember, guys, I'm always here, man. If you need me, HVAC Uncensored at gmail.com. Facebook and social media, direct message or whatever is probably the fastest way to get to me. But if you need anything, just fucking let me know. And I'll get these prizes. Make sure you email me if you won. So, RJ, I already have Sam's stuff, and I already know Scott's stuff. Make sure that you email me name, address, and your phone number and the prize you won, so I can get these out ASAP. Appreciate you, fellas. Have a good night,
everybody.
See ya. I like playing this noise. Hold on.